University of Western Ontario Mustangs. Well, as you can see, it's not a very pretty afternoon here in Toronto. It's been raining since early this morning. The field is pretty wet and slick, but I think the only saving grace is the temperature is well above freezing, so it shouldn't be that big a problem for the players this afternoon. Hello, everybody. I'm Leif Pedersen, and really welcome to Varsity Stadium, a stadium that is full of tradition and memories. Memories even for a young guy like myself, because I can remember waiting for Saturdays to come around so I could come down here and watch the University of Toronto Blues. Come down and see the Lady Godiva Marching Band and great players like quarterback Bryce Taylor and Mike Eben. Those were great memories for me, and I'm sure you're going to have a great afternoon today as we present Calgary against Western, two of the top teams in Canada. Should be a great afternoon. We've got a half-hour pregame show for you. A lot of features have happened during the week. Bill Stevenson will cover some of those coming up. But right now, I'd like you to meet a charming young lady that is the executive administrator of the Vanier Cup. She does a tremendous job, Linda Warkowski. Linda, it's been an unbelievable week with a lot of festivities that have taken place.
It has, Leif, and I think my voice is the living proof of that. We got off to a great start on Wednesday with the kickoff at Nathan Phillips Square, where we had various celebrities kick for charity. After that, we met the coaches of the two competing teams. Thursday at noon hour, the CIAU Coach of the Year was awarded at a luncheon hosted by the Canadian Football League. Thursday evening, the always wonderful Shenley CIAU Football Awards, where we honored 4 great football players. Yesterday at noon hour at the Old Mill, Nestle's Enterprises hosted a luncheon for 600 people where we honored 24 great All-Canadians. And finally, last evening, one of the highlights of the week at the Westin Hotel, our gala dinner and dance, where the former premier of this province, William Davis, showed his true colors and spoke of his support and love for Canadian football. It's been a great week.
Well, it really has, and as you can see, there's been a lot of things happening this week. Of course, culminating with the parade this morning. We're going to show you that a little later on, and of course with the game, which is about 25 minutes away. Right now, let's go down to the sidelines to that wily old veteran, Bill Stevenson.
I've got 2 great stars with me from Canadian Intercollegiate Football. Larry Moore, who is the #1 player, the Heck Crichton Trophy winner from Queen's University, a hard-running fullback. And I've got Mark Norman, who is a gentleman who should be used to the weather we've got here. He hails from UBC, Vancouver, and is the all-star cornerback on the Canadian Intercollegiate team. Now, fellows, we want to find out how you feel this game's going to go. First of all, what do you think about Western's chances?
Well, I think Western's got to control the ball against the wind. I think they're going to have to throw the ball to win. I think in a game like this, I think Calgary's got the size. I think they're going to have trouble moving the defensive line up front. I think they're going to have to put the ball in the air if they're going to be successful.
You know, Larry, that surprises me because Western has won so many games running the ball.
Well, I think they're going to have to run the ball against the wind and keep the ball away from Calgary. Yeah. But I think when they have the wind, I think Sandwich is going to put it up. I think they have to.
Mark, has this Calgary squad been underrated just a little bit, not being made the favorite, do you feel?
Yeah, I think so. I've played against them, and I find them they're a very, very strong team in all areas. I can't even find an area that they're weak in. Basically, like, they're superb against the run, they're superb against the pass. You have a quarterback who's excellent throwing the ball, and they have a superstar running back, Elio Jeremiah. And Western's really going to have to do a job somehow to stop these guys because they're really good.
Well, that's interesting. You've given us a picture that says they're strong everywhere. You mean there's no weakness you can pick out?
Well, I don't know how we beat them our first time, but you're going to have to be... You just can't make any mistakes, basically. You have to play almost a flawless game and just have to shut them down in the beginning. You have to get them panicking, and it's really tough to do because they're just so talented.
All right. Well, Larry and Mark, we'll be talking to you throughout the game, and you'll be able to give us your expert opinion on the contest at that time. This is the Vanier Cup, coming to you from Varsity Stadium, Intercollegiate Football Championship.
Welcome back to Toronto, the 1985 Vanier Cup, about 25 minutes away from kickoff now. Well, we mentioned earlier in the week the CIAU Shenley Awards took place. That was Thursday night at the Westin Hotel. Some great athletes were honored. Let's join Bill Stevenson now with a report on that evening.
The outstanding Canadian University football players are honored each year in the Shenley CIAU Football Awards that take place at a downtown hotel in Toronto. This is one of the highlights, without question, of Vanier Week. The Peter Gorman Trophy for the Rookie of the Year. The nominees are Mark Brown, a running back from Carleton University, 5'9", 165-pounder from Ottawa. Ken Evrer, a 20-year-old wide receiver and punter from Wilfrid Laurier University. Matt Pierce, a running back from the University of British Columbia, comes from Prince George, BC. And Richard Thompson, a halfback from Mount Allison University, who hails from London, Ontario.
From Carleton University, Mark Brown.
I'd like to thank, first of all, my teammates, and especially my offensive line this year. They did the job for me and made me look as good as I did. I'd also like to thank Ace Powell and his coaching staff.
The J.P. Metras Trophy is for the Lineman of the Year in Canadian University football. And look at the size of some of these fellows. Ross Garland, center, University of Manitoba, 225 pounds. Dirk Lears, a nose guard from York University in Toronto, 230 pounds. Andrew McConnell, a defensive tackle from St. Francis Xavier University, 270 pounds. And Mike Shadd, the offensive tackle from Queens at 282.
From Queens University, Mike Shadd.
Good thing I'm a lineman. You got to be a lineman to hold this trophy. I'd like to thank everybody who's been close to me, my parents especially, for helping me this year through school, the coaching staff at Queens.
The President's Trophy goes to the Defensive Player of the Year. And let me tell you, as in all categories, there are a lot of fine defensive players. There's Mark Horvath, the defensive back from McMaster University, hails out of Hamilton. Darcy Kopp, a defensive back from the University of Calgary, and that's his hometown. Greg Miller, linebacker from Concordia University, who hails from Toronto. And Alan Tracy, a middle linebacker from St. Francis Xavier, whose hometown is Moncton.
From the University of Calgary, Darcy Cobb.
And most of all, I'd like to thank my fellow teammates who make it possible for me to be up here tonight. You're the greatest. Thanks.
The Heck Crichton Trophy is for the Player of the Year. This is the big trophy, and the gentleman who is announcing the winners is Greg Vavra, quarterback, Calgary Stampeders. There's Elio Jeremiah, the running back from the University of Calgary, extremely quick. Larry Moore, the big fullback from Queen's University, 210 pounds. Steve Samwise, the fine left-handed passing quarterback from the University of Western Ontario. And Brian Walling, a great running back from Acadia University.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner of the 1985 Heck Crichton Trophy as the most valuable player in the CIAU from Queen's University, Larry Moore.
It's been a long time. We were driving down this afternoon, and I was talking to one of my friends in the car, and we were talking to each other about the first game we ever saw Queens play, and we were both sitting in the stands with a wineskin and not too aware of what was going on. And we said to each other, it can only get better from here. And I think this is it. Thank you very much.
Well, they're four really deserving young men, and what a good-looking group of young athletes they are. Larry Moore had a chance to meet with him before the game, and really, I think he's got a brilliant career in pro football if he wants to take advantage of it. Well, Linda, it's that time again. We had the parade that started this morning, and you and I are going to have a look at it. Really one of the big parts of Vanier Cup week, leading up to the parade. And maybe you can just tell us exactly where the parade route was located in Toronto.
We had a bit of a change this year, Leaf. We came along Wellesley to University, up University around Queen's Park, past a few hospitals, which we hope a lot of the kids got out and had a look at it today. Then up along Bloor Street and, of course, along to Varsity Stadium. And here we are.
As I said, always one of the things that people in Toronto look forward to. It's really too bad that the weather is so inclement today in the rain, because usually a lot of big crowds line the streets in Toronto to watch the Vanier Cup parade. And I understand some of the floats that were in Montreal last week for the Grey Cup were able to come here for this
Yes,
one.
we had actually the Shenley float came down from Montreal, and we're pleased to have it here with us today. Quite a colorful group there, anyways.
Well, As we said, always something that we look forward to. About 20 minutes away from kickoff right now. A few more things that we're going to show you in our pregame show leading up to the 1985 Vanier Cup between Calgary and Western. This is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Football Championship. The 1985 Vanier Cup. Earlier you met both Mark Norman and Larry Moore with Bill Stevenson. Well, we thought we'd put those two young players to work and give them a little broadcasting experience. So let's now go down and join Mark Norman in the Calgary dressing room.
Lou, I was wondering, as a player, how do you get yourself mentally prepared for a game?
Well, you know, we watch game films all week and prepare as best we can for the opposition. We break down some tendencies, see what kind of defenses they play. You know, as a member of the offensive team, that's what we're looking at. So basically we try to form a game plan and go from there.
How about mentally? Like, how do you psych yourself up for a game of this magnitude?
Well, you know, I treat it just like any other game. You know, it's you can't treat it any other way. Otherwise, you might get too nervous or you might not perform at your best. So for me, it's just another game.
Do you think your attack today is going to be well balanced using Elio and your pass?
Well, that's our plan. You know, we come out and Elio is our main weapon. He's had a heck of a season. And, you know, anytime you've got a player of his ability on your team, it's a definite asset. So we'll use him to run the ball. And if that doesn't succeed, then we have a good passing attack to back us up as well.
Well, I think Lou Lorick is really going to have his work cut out for him this afternoon against that tough Western defense. Now let's go down to the Heck Creighton winner, Larry Moore, who's in the Western dressing room.
Larry Moore here, Queens Golden Gales with Bill Lindsay. Western guard, offensive guard. What has Coach Haler said to you before you enter the game today?
Coach Haler just wants to take this game like any other game. So he wants to make sure we're calm, cool, and collected and go out there and go about our business.
What do you think about the field conditions? Often in a day like this, I know that we find it's a grinded out, run over top of them type of day. It's not too finesse. Is that the game plan?
I don't know. We've been playing in mud for the last 7 weeks, so we kind of like the mud. And we got, I think it's going to be a run out, grinded out both ways. Not going to be too much finesse. It's pretty hard to get the feet underneath you.
Right. Who do you think is going to be getting the ball today in a day like this? Is Blake Marshall going to be the workhorse?
Blake's always the workhorse. Eh? We got a lot of good backs, but I think Blake is our workhorse.
I know that Western has played almost all of their games this year in weather like this, and Steve Samways ended up leading the conference in passing anyways. Obviously he's capable of doing it. Is that in the plan again today to put the ball in the air?
Sure could be. If the weather conditions are so bad that we can't get our feet underneath of us and get the run game going, then we're going to go to the air.
Right. Okay.
Well, Bill Lindsay said they enjoy playing in the mud, and I suspect if the weather stays the way it is, he's going to get his wish this afternoon. Well, one of the big events every year in Vanier Cup is, of course, the Vanier Cup dinner and dance, and that took place last Friday at the Westin Hotel. In fact, former CFL Commissioner Jake Goddard was the honorary chairman this year. So let's join Bill Stevenson for a report on that dinner.
While most of the football players are put away for the night as they get ready for the big game, everybody else that's in town for the Vanier Cup, or as many as can jam into the ballroom of this hotel, the Westin in downtown Toronto, get ready for the big Vanier Cup dinner and dance. The Pipers bringing in the head table. Jake Goddard is the honorary chairman of the 1985 Vanier Cup, the outgoing commissioner of the Canadian Football League. As a matter of fact, he officially retires as of January 1st, 1986. And one of the big items for this dinner and dance is the fact that the proceeds go to Diabetes Canada. And so everybody has a merry time and a lot of fun, eat well, and dance afterwards to a fine band. But on top of that, money goes to Diabetes Canada.
To me, ladies and gentlemen, he is a great Canadian, and he's had to face and solve many problems. But to me, one of his greatest attributes was, like the song says, he did it his way. That is to say, he did it with consummate good humor. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you a great Canadian, William Grenville Davis, better known to all of us, I think, as just plain Bill. Bill.
And let's never be hesitant about being pretty proud as Canadians. Tomorrow is a Canadian event. Young people from the West, young people from the East. It's a national championship. We don't have to worry about the media and the critics saying after the Orange Bowl, if Penn State loses, does that mean Oklahoma's #1 or Miami of Florida is perhaps #1 or some other institution? In a uniquely Canadian fashion, we're going to establish tomorrow who in fact is #1, and we do it without the aid of polls and all of the experts, because we can be unique, not only in this event tomorrow, but in so many others. It's a pleasure to have spent these few moments with you. I apologize for not speaking longer, but that has never been my custom. I thank you very much.
Well, there's no doubt about Bill Davis and where his allegiance lies in football. He's a true Canadian and loves Canadian college football. Well, you know, part of the proceeds do go to Diabetes Canada, and we'd like to show you a message now from Arden Haynes, who is the campaign chairman for Diabetes Canada.
Diabetes Canada is a group of volunteers working to raise money to fund medical research to find a cure for diabetes. Diabetes is the third most fatal disease. It now affects 1 in 25 Canadians, and it is growing rapidly. But these statistics really belie the true seriousness of the disease, because it is often the root cause of heart disease, kidney failure, blindness, and so on. On behalf of all of us in Diabetes Canada, we wish to thank the Vanier Cup organization for designating diabetes as the recipient charity for the Vanier Cup.
This is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Football Championship.
You'll never believe it, but out here, look.
The officials that will be working in this afternoon's Vanier Cup Championship game are the referee, Rick McFadden of Edmonton, along with the line umpire, who is Ken Green of Scarborough. The back umpire, Bernie Young of Montreal, and Jerry White of Rothsay, New Brunswick. The head linesman is Ross Hutchinson of Calgary, and the field judge is Murray Taylor of Brampton.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Varsity Stadium and the 1985 Vanier Cup game for the Canadian University Football Championship. We direct your attention to the field for the player introductions and introduce CTV sportscaster Bill Stevenson.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Vanier Cup Football Championship. And now presenting the starting defensive unit for the 1985 Western Bowl champions, the University of Calgary Dinosaurs. At left end, number 93, Kent Warnock. Nose guard, number 76, Rob Prodanovich. Right end, number 62, Jeff Sawchuk. Left linebacker, number 49, Doug Nyhoff. The middle linebacker, number 51, Wade Buteau. Middle linebacker, number 50, Rod Mondon. Right linebacker, number 70, Dean Lang. Left cornerback, number 22, Dexton Blackstock. Right cornerback, number 11, Brent Bodker. Defensive halfback, number 32, Darcy Kopp. Defensive halfback, number 21, Bruno Jeremiah. At safety, number 35, Tyler Robinson. And now, the head coach and 1985 CIAU Coach of the Year, Peter Connellan, and the rest of the Calgary Dinosaurs. Presenting the starting offensive unit for the 1985 Atlantic Bowl champions, the University of Western Ontario Mustangs. At center, number 42, Bill Traynor. Left guard, number 52, Bill Lindsay. Right guard, number 44, Jamie Terrace. Left tackle, number 43, Dave Bromley. Right tackle, number 61, Irv Damon. Tight end, number 78, Tim Spriel. Slot back, number 31, Bill Stark. Running back, number 4, Brendan Lenko. Running back, number 30, Blake Marshall. Split end, number 17, John Moffett. Flanker, number 18, Rick Walkensburg. And quarterback, number 7, Steve Samway. And now the head coach, Larry Haler, and the rest of the Western Ontario Mustangs. You can see the excitement of these two squads, and there is no question that they're ready for the Canadian Intercollegiate Football Championship. And to all of the players, have a great game. This is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Football Championship. From Varsity Stadium in Toronto, it is the Vanier Cup, featuring the University of Calgary Dinosaurs versus the University of Western Ontario Mustangs. It has been a rather drizzly day, unfortunately, a day that is going to keep the crowd down slightly, and it's too bad because yesterday was such a beautiful afternoon, and there is also a bit of a breeze that will affect the kicking game. And now, our national anthem. Canada's University Football Championship.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a rain-soaked Varsity Stadium in downtown Toronto. I'm Pat Marsden, along with Leif Pedersen, and our special guest this afternoon, the quarterback of the Calgary Stampeders and the former quarterback of the Calgary Dinosaurs, Greg Vavra. Greg, a very fast comment on what you expect from the Dinosaurs today.
Well, I would expect that the Dinosaurs would try to establish a running game early in the football game, primarily because the field is as muddy as it is. I think that they will try to get the run going early and then try to set up the pass later in the afternoon if the field allows that to happen.
All right, Leif, we'll get to a comment from you about the Western Mustangs, but let's go down now to midfield where they are introducing the official party that will perform today's ceremonial
Holding
kickoff.
the ball is Mr. Arden Haynes, National Campaign Chairman of Diabetes Canada, Chairman of the Vanier Cup Management Committee. And to perform the ceremonial kickoff for the 1985 Vanier Cup, we welcome the Honorable Otto Jelinek, Minister of State for Fitness and Amateur Sport, representing the Government of Canada.
Well, that's a pretty half-decent kick by Otto Jelinek, the former figure skater. Leif, let's talk about the Western Mustangs. This weather is not unfamiliar to them because I understand they played 6 or 7 games in the rain this year.
Well, they have, you know, and Bill Lindsay, who Larry Moore talked to before the game, said that they love playing in the mud and the rain. They're kind of used to it now, and really, you know, you always think that maybe is going to affect the quarterback in his throwing, but Steve Samways, over the course of the last few games, has demonstrated that he can throw the ball in the rain and direct attack without worrying about the elements, so I don't think they're going to have any difficulty at all.
Greg Vavra, you were telling me before we went on the air that you would have anticipated one of the great Vanier Cup games of all time, except for the field conditions.
Well, I think that both teams have as much physical ability as any two teams that have ever been matched up in the Vanier Cup. And had the field conditions been better, I think you would have seen one of the best games that the Vanier Cup has to this point in time. As it is, the field conditions are the same for both teams. They both have to play with them, but it's going to slow things down a little bit.
Well, Milan Marjanovic is set to kick this one off for the Calgary Dinosaurs. And back deep to receive it will be Edsel Shreve, number 28. And also joining him is number 27, Mike McAuliffe. As Western now pulls a bit of a switch, and I've always got a kick out of this because I've never thought that it did a whole lot other than confuse the people who were trying to receive the football. However, Marjanovic is just about set. The crowd is getting cranked up. And as Bill mentioned, it is unfortunate that we had this inclement weather here today because no doubt in my mind we would have had close to 20,000. As it is now, they'll watch it on television. But we're happy to be here because we know that the Vanier Cup always is a great conclusion to what has been an outstanding college football season, and we know it'll be again today. And this is Edsel Shreve. Shreve is tripped up immediately by Wade Buteau, number 51, and very quickly the Calgary Dinosaurs have the Western Mustangs in a hole as we look at the way they'll set up offensively with Steve Samways, the talk of Eastern Canada at the quarterbacking slot, along with Brendan Lenko and the big fella Blake Marshall, whose touchdown it was that gave Western their championship season.
Pat, the thing I like about those 4 receivers you saw, they're all over 6 foot tall. They're good targets for Steve Samways to locate.
So starting from their own 19-yard line, the Mustangs want to put it up right away. The pass is caught by Rick Wolkenberg, and he's dropped immediately by Brent Bodker, the cornerback number 11, the 5'11", 170-pounder who picked off 3 this season, but was there to make the stop, not before a 19-yard gain by Wolkensberg.
Well, it'll be up to those guys up front to give him the time to throw a big defensive line that they're going to have to protect against.
First down, Western, the ball at their 38-yard line. And going deep is Samways once again, and he's got his man. John Moffett is inside the 30-yard line at about the 25 and a half. The pickup will be 46 yards as Samway comes out throwing strikes first to Wolkensberg, then to Moffat, and finally he's brought down by Kopp, number 32, the wily veteran of that defensive unit, and Tyler Robinson.
You know, Greg, I think Darcy Kopp just relaxed for a minute and let Moffat sneak in behind him. Really, he had initially good coverage, but then couldn't stay with him.
I think that's true. Darcy felt that the play was coming inside, the guy broke behind him, and then the big play.
And now they give it to the big man, Blake Marshall, and Marshall powers his way inside the 20 to about the 19-yard line, and he'll have a pickup of 6 before, once again, Darcy Kopp and Dean Lang are there to bring him down. Kopp is number 32, the all-time career leader at the University of Calgary in pass interceptions with 14, and Dean Lang, the 5'11", 205-pound linebacker, wears number 70. He was there to help out on the tackle. The injured Calgary Dinosaur is Rod Munden, number 50, as the medical staff is out to look after his needs. We're just underway here from Varsity Stadium in downtown Toronto. It's the 1985 Vanier Cup as we take a look and see what happened to Rod Munden on that play.
Well, Pat, Steve Samways in this first initial drive has really impressed me. Come out throwing, nice hook pattern on first down to Bill Stark, made a nice catch, and then right back deep to John Moffat, and now he can change up and go to that running game with Big Blake Marshall.
Well, it is scoreless, and this is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Football Championship. Well, the Calgary Dinosaurs have to be a little bit concerned because quarterback Steve Samways has come out here and has gone bang-bang with passes to Rick Wolkensberg, number 18, John Moffat, number 17, and all of a sudden, after taking the opening kickoff deep in their own territory, the Western Mustangs are inside the Calgary 20-yard line.
I think that is a little bit of a concern to the Dinosaurs. It's not something that has happened to them all year long, and to have something like that happen after the opening kickoff is a little bit disconcerting, but they have been able to buckle down inside their 25 all year long, and we'll see what they do right now.
All right, that was the voice of Greg Vavra. I'm Pat Marsden with Lee Pedersen and Bill Stevenson, 2nd and 4, and this is Brendan Lenko. And Lenko will be very close to the first down marker. If he got to the 15-yard line, he's got the first down for Western.
Well, number 49, Doug Nyoff, the outside linebacker, did a great job to fight off the block and keep Lenko. Well, he picked up the first down, but nevertheless did an excellent job.
And there's a look at that Calgary dressing room as they brought Rod Munden, the linebacker, number 50, one of 14 players from St. Francis High School in Calgary to make this Dinosaur Club. He's in the dressing room being attended to right now. It is first down Western. The ball at the Calgary 15-yard line. And Samways looking. It was a great trap by John Moffat, but they rule it was so. It will go as an incomplete forward pass. The first time in this first drive that Samways has missed.
Well, Moffat ran a good pattern to the outside, and really that's the good side for Steve Samways to throw. He is a left-handed quarterback, but there you see great camera work. He just, well, you know what? They are calling it a reception now. I thought that official was staying out there to mark the football. It appeared to me as though he trapped it, Greg, but they're going to give it to him nevertheless.
It looks as if the official made the call. I don't think he was at the best angle to make the call, but obviously is ruling it a reception.
Well, you see number 51, Wade Buteau, the outstanding linebacker, over disagreeing with the official, but forget it, Wade, it's going to stand.
Well, Lee Pedersen is right. It is going to stand, but there isn't a doubt in my mind that the ball hit the ground. But he made such a good attempt at it. Maybe they're giving him, you know, all the points for effort.
Hey, listen, when you come in here ranked number 1, you get the breaks.
So the ball is now at the 13-yard line. It's a pickup. Let's make that the 8-yard line. Make it a pickup of 7, 2nd and 3. And this is Brendan Lenko, and Lenko will be very close to another Western first down.
I had an opportunity to talk to Greg Marshall, the running back coach of the Western Mustangs, just before the game, and he felt one of the keys to Western's running attack was the ability or the opportunity that they had to run right at the Dinosaurs. As big as they are, they felt they could move them with the quick traps and the quick hitting plays, and they feel that that will be a key to their success today.
I mentioned too that Coach Greg Marshall did play with the Edmonton Eskimos for a couple of years, really had the bad knees and had to retire due to that.
And of course he's back at his alma mater because it was Greg Marshall who set the stage for his younger brother Blake. because Greg was just outstanding and considered by many to be the best running back to ever go to the University of Western Ontario. So it is first down, Western. First and touchdown to go. The ball is at the Calgary 5-yard line. Samways puts it up, touchdown. Rick Wilkinsburg with the first major score of the game. And boy, let's say what a job quarterback Steve Samways did in that original march, because he took them 91 yards to that end zone.
And he really rolled out to his right side and threw a strike. Give Rick Wilkinsburg credit. He ran a good pass pattern, then had to come back and make a nice catch. In the hands, that's the secret, isn't it, Greg?
It was an excellent route, and Steve Wilkinsburg does have apparently very soft hands and is a class of the Western receiving corps. The one thing I liked on that play was the ability of Steve Samways to throw the ball before the break was made by his receiver. It was good timing, and obviously the field isn't slowing Western down all that much.
Jeff Cruz's attempt at the point after is no good. But the Western Mustangs draw first blood. They lead it 6-0 over Calgary. This is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Football Championship. Well, there's a look at the University of Western Ontario Mustangs on the sidelines, and that is Steve Samways, number 7, who did such a masterful job in guiding Western all the way 91 yards to the opening score of this ball game. It's 6-0 as Jeff Cruz, number 1, lines up the kickoff. He'll be booting it to either Ilio Jeremiah, 25, or number 32, Darcy Kopp, and this will be Kopp from his 19-yard line. And Kopp, with an excellent return, is over the 35 to about the 37 before number 28, Edsel Shreve, was there to bring him down. It's an 18-yard return, and now we'll have an opportunity to watch the Dinosaurs offense led by quarterback Lou Rollick, who completed 49.4% of his passes this year, 11 of them for touchdowns. Not as good a year as he had in '84, but he's the man who will make this offense go, along with running back Ilio Jeremiah, 25, and Tony Spallettini, number 37. And this is Jeremiah. And he cannot get to the outside as that Western defense just shuts him right down at the corner. It was Brent Lewis, number 35, the inside linebacker, who was there to make the stop.
Well, they really keyed up against Jeremiah. They know he's a 1,000-yard rusher, so they want to give him a good shot right off the bat. There's number 35, Brent Lewis. He's the inside linebacker in a 3-4 alignment. He's the guy that's got to come up and make the play.
So now Larick, with the pressure on him to get these guys moving, fires a strike, and a good one it is. The number 24, Randy Guy, and Guy will have the first down of the ball game for Calgary on the 17-yard pickup.
And that is the strength of Calgary's passing attack. They do have an excellent rollout, sprint-out system, and it's just a very simple out pattern that Randy ran and found the seam in between the outside linebacker and the halfback covering the flat.
Well, it's good to convert on 2nd and long, too, right off the bat.
Larick swings it out to Jeremiah, but he couldn't hang on to it. Jeremiah didn't have that many catches in 1985, which I found surprising because I thought that they would probably utilize the guy who's as quick as he is, but has that never been the plan of attack in the Calgary offense, Greg Bavra?
Actually, that is something that has changed over the last couple of years. When I played and when we played in the Vanier Cup in 1983, we had Tim Petros as a running back who had excellent hands, and we did utilize him as much as we could. Calgary seems to try to run Ilio more and keep the ball away from him on the pass.
On 2nd down, the pass from center squirted right through, and Jeremiah had to pick it up. There are flags all over the field. Western definitely jumped offside. And I would think that Calgary is going to get a free 5 yards out of this one. And they'll be pleased because there was a bad exchange from the center to the quarterback. And there it is, the signal that it was offside against Western. Paul Geddes, number 45, just jumped the gun a little bit. So it'll bring up a 2nd and 5.
It'll be 2nd down repeated.
2nd and 5 with the ball at the Western 48-yard line. It would really be nice from a Calgary viewpoint to convert this now, because it would show Western that they have to worry about that Calgary offense every bit as much as Western displayed in their opening drive. The toss goes to Jeremiah. And Jeremiah was really wrestled by Steve Huggins, who broke through there. And although Huggins didn't make the tackle, it was he who broke up the play and enabled John McVeigh, number 23, to come and finally drop him for a loss of about 4.
Pat, there is bad news as far as the Calgary Dinosaurs are concerned. Their linebacker, Rod Mondon, has knee ligament problems. He is out for the game, and they are getting a doctor now just to make a double check on it, but it does not appear to be good.
Thank you, Bill, and we will certainly hope and keep our fingers crossed that it isn't as bad as it appears to be initially. Mike McAuliffe, number 27, and Michel Roy, number 21. Roy from Three Rivers, Quebec, one of 2 players on the Western Club from Three Rivers, Quebec, back to return this punt from Brent Maddich, who, strangely enough, is one of the few players outside of the province of Alberta on this Calgary club. He's from Saskatchewan. Ball bounces into the end zone, and I'm sure that the Mustangs will be willing to give up a single point, and that's exactly what they do. But the Dinosaurs get on the scoreboard, and if nothing else, that's definitely good for the old morale of the ball club, because they answer to score, not with a major, but at least with a point. And so it's a 6-1 ball game now with 4 minutes and 50. Let's make that 9 minutes and 55 seconds left to play in this opening quarter. What'd you think of the first offensive drive, Greg?
Well, I think they did exactly what they wanted to do as far as the Dinosaurs were concerned. They wanted to get a couple first downs, prove to themselves that they can move the ball a little bit. I was very impressed, though, with Western's ability to rally around Delio Jeremiah, and that's the only way you're going to bring him down consistently.
So the Mustangs start now from their 35-yard line. And again, the pass is good. This time to Bill Stark, the slot back from Guelph, Ontario, makes the reception, and though he picks up at 5 yards and now sets up a 2nd and 5, Doug Nyhoff, 49, was there to bring him down.
Greg, you know what Western is really doing well here in the first quarter? They're getting excellent yardage on first down. Bill Stark across crossing pattern, makes the catch and picks up 5 yards, but it seems like every time Steve Samway steps up on 2nd down, it's less than 5 yards, and that's a big key.
It really is. It really makes it a lot easier game for Steve to call on 2nd down. You control football games when you have consistent 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5 situations.
And it is 2nd and 5 right now. And that swarming Calgary defense was there to drop the Western quarterback as Rob Brodanovic and Kent Warnick are both there. They met at the quarterback. They drop him back at the 30-yard line, and Samways suffers his first sack of the ball game.
And it appears as though these front 3 guys are going to get a real workout today as Steve Samways throwing the football a lot that time. Rob Brodanovic made the sack. That's a mouthful, isn't it?
We always have fun at the Vanier Cup, don't we? Incidentally, you know, you talk about that Calgary defense. They average 6'5", 251 pounds. There are a lot of clubs in the CFL would like to have that size. Jeff Cruz's punt bounces at midfield. The Dinosaurs very alertly allow the ball to lay on the turf. I thought there could have been a no yards call there. None is forthcoming. But Calgary will have excellent field position as they take over on Western side of midfield at the 52.5-yard line.
Well, Greg, you know, as a quarterback, it sure makes play selection a lot easier when you get the good field position to start your drives.
Well, that's right. That's a key to this game especially, is the kicking game will determine field position, and if you can win the kicking game, you've taken a third of the game, and it'll allow you to start in exactly this type of field position, and then it's up to your offense to take it on in.
Jeremiah and Spallettini, teammates since high school, are in the backfield, and Jeremiah, the ball carrier, gets to the Western 47-yard line for a pickup of about 6 or 7 as we go to Bill Stevenson.
Well, Mark Norman, who's the all-star cornerback from UBC, said that this Calgary club was so squad, he thought they'd roll over. Were you surprised?
Yes, I do.
I mean, roll over them. Were you
I
surprised in how well Western's gone against them?
This is the first time I've seen Western play, and the quarterback really can throw the ball well, and the receivers are doing fine. Exactly what Larry said. They seem to have to pass. They can't do too well against the run, but their pass is very good, and it's going to be a test on Calgary's DBs to see if they can stop this game.
Thanks, Mark.
Jeremiah was the ball carrier, and his fine run gives Calgary a first down at the Western 40-yard line.
Well, Pat, you know, you're only as good as the other guy in the backfield with you, and that time, number 37, Tony Spallettini, the blocking fullback, just blew somebody out of there, and Jeremiah found the hole in a first down.
Well, this is the kind of football game we anticipated. Both offenses really in high gear as Jeremiah is again the ball carrier. And this is the little guy who only goes 5'8", but is a stocky 190 pounds. He's showing us now what we've heard so much about all season long. Michel Roy had to come up and make the stop, but again, it's a 7-yard pickup.
Well, once again, there's his pal, Tony Spallettini, out in front leading the way.
I think this is the type of football you're going to see Calgary play and try to establish as the day goes on. The toss and what they call the drive pop right into the middle of the line.
It is second down, 3 yards to go from the 34. Again, this is Jeremiah, and he gets very close to the 30-yard line, and if he has hit the 30, it'll be another Dinosaurs first down.
Tell me, Greg, with the weather the way it is now and the place kicking could be a problem, are they now at the 30-yard line playing 3-down football?
I think they are. I had a discussion with Peter Cannellan before the game. He said that unless he could set up and kick a field goal from inside the 35, he wouldn't even attempt it. So I think until they get good field position inside the 30-yard line, you won't even see the field goal unit on the field.
The yardsticks are brought out, and they are short by just inches. Not to worry, because the Dinosaurs will go for this. Randy Guy comes off the field. The short yardage unit is in there now. And why not? They have the ball at the Western 30. They trail 6-1 with 6 minutes and 38 seconds left to play in this opening quarter. The concern, of course, was that the field would be chewed up. Fortunately, Varsity Stadium is one of the best grass fields in eastern Canada, and it has drained very well considering the amount of precipitation we've had in Toronto this week.
And I think from what Western has been used to playing in for the last few weeks, this field's in fabulous shape for them.
This is like artificial turf for them. So it's third down, inches to go. Let's see if Lara keeps it himself. He does, and he's got the first down by a lot. Picked up very close to 2 yards. Boy, there was a great surge by the right side of that offensive line of the Calgary Dinosaurs. Greg Watson, 46 at guard, and Pete Oler, the son of former BC quarterback Peter Oler, is at the right tackle spot, number 45, and that's where Lorick tucked himself in behind them. So it's first down for the Calgary Dinosaurs, and they've been impressive in this drive, particularly the blocking of Spallettini and the running of Jeremiah. This time they give it to the fullback Spallettini, but Western stayed home, did not go for the fake, and Dave Small, the nose guard, was there to make the stop.
What I find very interesting about Tony Spallettini, doesn't get a chance to really carry the ball that often, but he averaged 5.5 yards a carry over the season, and that's extremely good for a fullback.
Well, Tony's a big load. They've got him listed at 228 pounds, and knowing his family, knowing his mother, I know that he runs around 245, so he's a big load to bring down when he gets
good home cooking there.
The old pasta will do it every time.
Look what it's done for you.
The pass is ruled incomplete. It was tipped by John McVeigh, and although the reception was made by Mike Soroska, he was out of bounds.
Well, Nick Volpe, our isolation director, has a good look at Mike Soroska for you. And just as he's about to make the catch, it's tipped by number 23, John McVeigh, and Soroska cannot hang on. We'll see what Calgary decides to do.
Well, that was as much of a catch, really, as the one that we saw down here anyway. You'll remember Mike Soroska, of course, Greg Babra, because there was a big play in the Vanier Cup in 1983 that ended up as the winning touchdown.
Well, it was. I always kid Mike about being the recipient of the biggest pass in college football history, and of course we're just joking, but he did put on a little bit of show for the people here with his Ukrainian dance, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see that today sometime.
Well, as Greg pointed out, they're not going to try to kick too many field goals, and that may be the last one you'll see, because they had zero success. There was no kind of success with the exchange to begin with, and then there was no chance for the field goal try. The ball ends up down at the 20-yard line, and that's where the Western Mustangs will take over when we come back. They lead the Calgary Dinosaurs 6-1. This is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Football Championship.
Darren Modiak is the athletic director of the University of Western Ontario. Darren, were you surprised the way your club moved through the air, especially for that first touchdown?
Well, not really. We're really pleased with the way Steve Samways has been playing, and I think very critical to today's game will be his performance. And they came out very aggressively, and they started to throw the ball and had great success in that first drive.
And you're hoping it continues?
We certainly are. Great day, great game.
Congratulations to you and Western getting into the Vanier Cup.
Thanks very much, Bill.
Right.
Lucas High School in London, Ontario is where that man, Steve Samways, number 7, went to school, high school. Now he's at Western. He hands the ball off to the big fullback, Blake Marshall, who crosses the 25 to the 28. And we've got a penalty marker down on the field, and it will go against the Mustangs.
Holding. Stay back. It'll be first. That's the difference. Right? No, 21. Go back to holding. Western number 44. It'll be first down repeated.
Jamie Terrace is called for holding number 44. Let's look at it.
Well, you really can't see him in the picture there. All I know is that they're backed up 10 and going to start all over again. 1st and 20 for the Western Mustangs.
And this time they'll start at their 10-yard line. And on a slippery field with a light rain falling, anything can happen in this part of the territory. Samways is dropped back at the 5-yard line by Rob Pradanovich, number 76, who played all of the preseason with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and comes up with the big play now for the Dinosaurs.
Well, I'm sure he had a feeling that on 1st and 20, Samways would be going back to pass, and Rob Pradanovich comes up with his 2nd sack of the game, and boy, have they got Western backed up now.
They really do. Rob's strength as a football player is his quickness. I think he used it there, used it to his advantage, and obviously his strength with one arm was able to pull down Samways.
Greg, tell me what you do. You got 2nd and 25 now. Do you just play it close to the vest and say, listen, let's punt it away and hope our defense can play?
In my opinion, that's what you do. I think you don't try to go down the field and throw an interception where they get the ball at your 25. You do your best to gain a few yards, get a few of the yards back, and then punt it away and hope for a better turn of field position.
But Samways is going to put it up. But the catch cannot be made by Rick Wolkensberg, who had the ball in his hands but couldn't squeeze it. He'd have been well short of the first down. But when I saw Steve Samways drop back, I thought maybe he was a punter as well. And boy, it would have been a great advantage had he been.
Well, that time working from the shotgun position, Rick Wolkensberg does come open as Calgary was in a deep zone coverage, but watch the hit by number 21, Bruno Jeremiah, Elio's brother in that defensive secondary. Just as lucky as he was going to make the catch. Here comes 21, just comes in and rocks him. We're talking about Bruno Jeremiah, not a bad year for him. 3 interceptions and 4 sacks, so that tells me that Calgary's defense every once in a while is going to come with that safety blitz.
Yes, they will. Bruno's, as well as the rest of the defensive backfield, have played very well for the Dinosaurs. They've got key turnovers at key times.
Jeff Cruz' punt will be handled by Darcy Kopp. And Kopp gets into about the 29-yard line. Boy, Calgary is going to be in business right here, trailing 6-1 with 3 minutes left to play in this opening quarter. Let's go to Bill Stevenson.
Bob Corrin is the new athletic director of the University of Calgary. Bob, you got to be happy with what's happening right now, even though you are trailing.
Well, we're very happy to be here, but as Coach Cannell said in the locker room, we didn't play this season just to get here. We played it to win.
You at least got a little warmer weather, even if the rain did have to come.
Yeah, it's much better conditions for the kids today. Last weekend was really, really bitter cold, and I think they're appreciating this good, warm Toronto hospitality.
Thank God.
Lou Lorick looking for Randy Guy across the middle, but the pass was just a little too high, and he couldn't bring it down.
In fact, they were talking about that game last weekend out west. I understand a lot of the players got frostbite. It was so cold.
It was a very cold day. I think at the end of the game, the temperature was down to minus 30 degrees Celsius, and it's not a very enjoyable way to spend an evening, especially if you're a football player, because if you have to stand around at all, the bitter cold just really eats at you.
Second down, Lorick is dropped back at the Western 40 by Bruce Elliott, the big 6'3", 215-pound linebacker from Toronto's North York area. And he comes through with the big defensive play for the Mustangs when they needed it most.
Boy, that's for sure. And after you've had a short punt and really given such great field position to Calgary, you always hope that your defense is going to come through and do the job, and they sure did.
Well, both defenses so far, with the exception of the first drive this afternoon, have really done the job. Calgary had Western backed up, and those are the type of situations where you have to pin them down. They did that. Western defense gets backed up inside their own end, and they come up with a big sack, and now they will turn the ball over for their offense as well.
I'll be honest with you, fellas. I'm really surprised at how well both offenses have been able to maneuver the football here this afternoon, because I could envision fumble after fumble, drop passes, etc., but that really hasn't been the case.
You know, Pat, you and I are so used to seeing games played on AstroTurf where everything looks pretty good. I honestly believe that both teams are really pleased with the way the field conditions are today. Western, we talked about, played in the mud. Calgary's played in the freezing cold. I'm sure if you went down and talked to the players, they'd say, heck, this is a great day in the field, super.
So Brent Matich, number 90, the native of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, stands back in midfield to punt for the Calgary Dinosaurs. Michel Roy, number 21, is back there along with Mike McAuliffe, number 27. The last time, Matich boomed at 62 yards. This one he angles toward the sideline, and he can't be too pleased with that because he semi-shanks it, and we'll see where they spot him. Going to put it at about the 26 or 27-yard line, I believe.
It's a big break for Western. They had a real chance to pin Western deep in their own territory, but that short punt has allowed Steve Samways to come out and have a little breathing room.
Let's go to Bill Stevenson.
Let's take a look at the wide world of sports later today. You will see figure skating, report on the True North, Budweiser GT endurance race, and the junior synchronized swimming duets. That is immediately following the Vanier Cup, so it's a great afternoon of sports on CTV.
The Western Mustangs begin from their 26-yard line with 1:25 left in the first quarter. They lead the ball game 6-1, and this is their big back, Blake Marshall, number 30, powering his way to about the 29-yard line. But that front five of the Calgary Dinosaurs not giving up very much, and on the bottom of the pile was number 64, Brian Bellway. Now, I'll tell you, he can ring your bell a little. 6'6", 270 pounds. He stacks up nicely with Kent Warnick at 6'7", 262.
What do they call them? The Twin Towers, I think Pete Cannella was referring to his defensive guys.
So the pickup was limited to, let's say, 3 yards, make it 2nd and 7. Ball at the 29-yard line. Samways fires quickly to his inside receiver, Bill Stark, who makes a fine catch as he went to his knees for the reception in front of Bruno Jeremiah, and a pickup of 14 yards.
Well, he did a great job of not only catching the football, but that entire Western offensive line of picking up the blitz. Number 51, Wade Buteau, was coming. They handled him easily, and with one-on-one coverage, Bill Stark got in behind Jeremiah and made the play.
You know, it's funny, I was talking to Nabi Workowski, who's with York University, before the game. He said Samways is not a threat to run, but he's elusive in that he gets rid of the ball very quickly. He'll set up, and he is seldom sacked. Now, Calgary got to him once so far, but that's all. As Brendan Lenko is the ball carrier, and he only manages to get to the 45. He'll have a pickup of a yard and a half at best. Wade Buteau, graduate of Bishop Grandin High School in Calgary, is there to make the tackle from his inside linebacking position, number 51.
Well, we remember him from the 1983 Vanier Cup. He was a starting linebacker then. He's a fourth-year student in phys ed and had a great career with the Dinosaurs.
Ball is just outside the 45. Another passing down for Steve Samways. But instead, he gives on the draw to Blake Marshall. But that Calgary Dinosaur defense has really tightened up since that opening drive. Kent Warnick, number 93, and Buteau, 51, were there to bring him down. It's a 6-1 ball game. Western leads Calgary. This is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Football Championship.
Steve Samways, who's been throwing that ball so well. Steve, it must be difficult, though, in this weather.
Well, to a certain extent. It's a little bit sloppy out there right now, but it's also tough to get a pass rush on us right now. So we're just trying to ignore the weather right now and try and play the game as well as we can.
The offense seems to be working extremely well, though, Steve.
Well, so far, we've been doing well, and hopefully it continues throughout the game.
What is your plan, your offensive plan?
Well, right now, going into the game, we're hoping to do both run and pass equally as well, and right now we're still going to stick with it.
All right. Thank you, Steve.
Yep.
So on 3rd down and 6 yards to go, Jeff Cruz will be punting for the University of Western Ontario Mustangs as we begin the second quarter of play here at Varsity Stadium in downtown Toronto, with the Mustangs out in front of the University of Calgary Dinosaurs 6-1. On the opening drive of the ball game, Samways directed his club all the way to the only major score. Calgary answered it with a single point, and now they hope to get the ball in half-decent field position as Doug Peterson and Darcy Kopp are back to return this punt. And this will be Kopp from his 27-yard line, and he takes it right up the field, gets to the 36, and so that's where Calgary will take over. Jamie Terrace, number 44, was down to make the stop for Western. All right, there's a look at our first quarter statistical story. And let's say that it was the Steve Samways quarter because he was good on 6 of 7 passes for 97 yards. And that accounts for virtually all of the offense for the Western Ontario Mustangs in the first 15 minutes. Now let's see what Lou Lorick can do at quarterback for Calgary. He hands off to Jeremiah. And Ilio gets very close to the 40-yard line for a pickup of about 4 before Ed Zenimurski, number 50, and Dave Small, number 51, are there to bring him down.
Now they're working on a part of the field that has really become quite muddy. Towards the sidelines, not too bad, but in between those 40-yard lines is really where all the mud is occurring.
You know, you talk about Jeremiah, what a tremendous season he had. He picked up over 1,300 yards rushing, scored 9 touchdowns, and the man is a threat every time he touches the ball. Here on 2nd and 3, the toss goes to Jeremiah again, but there was excellent inside pursuit by Matt James, number 34, the linebacker from Trafalgar High School in Oakville, Ontario, just outside of Toronto. He was there to bring him down.
Boy, he's a nice size for a linebacker, too. 6'3" and 215. He's been with the Western Mustangs for 5 years now and read the play perfectly, slid in when the guard pulled in, made the nice tackle on Elio Jeremiah.
He did an excellent job, Leaf, of lateral movement and closing in on Jeremiah, and it's something that they're really going to have to do all afternoon, because if Jeremiah gets a little bit of a hole, he can hurt you quickly.
Boy, that Matt James looks like a good pro prospect to me.
So Brent Maddich, number 90, stands back to punt once again to Michel Roy, number 21, and Mike McAuliffe, number 27. It's a good punt. And this is Roy from his 33-yard line, and he doesn't get very far because down very quickly was number 46, Craig Watson, who caught him in midair. He caught him high. I didn't notice who got him low, but whatever it was, there was only a 2-yard return after that 38-yard boot, and so Western is starting from their 35-yard line.
Well, number 15, Greg Farney, really made the play to turn him back inside, and that allowed Craig Watson to come down and make the good hit.
Steve Samways and the University of Western Ontario Mustangs begin from their 35.5-yard line. They have a 6-1 lead. And Samways wants to put it up. The left-hander fires, and this one is picked off by Wade Budo. The veteran from Bishop Grandin High School in Calgary makes the big play for the Dinosaurs, who take over in Western Territory at the 49-yard line.
Well, I told you earlier he had 3 interceptions on the year. That's his 4th, and what a great one-handed catch he made. Calgary's been struggling a little bit here in the first half. Maybe this is the play that'll really pick them up.
Those are the big plays in a game like this that really determine the outcome. And as a defense, I think Calgary has done a good job all year of turning the ball over for their offense. And again, Wade comes up with a big play right now.
That was the voice of Craig Babra, the former University of Calgary Dinosaur, and now the Calgary Stampeder quarterback, as Lorick with a good fake. Oh, just overthrows his intended receiver, Randy Guy. Guy would have been there for 6, but Lorick just didn't take enough off the football.
Oh, boy. Would he like to have that one over again? And Greg, you can sympathize with Lou on that because as a quarterback yourself, you make the great fake into the line. He fooled everybody and just couldn't connect with Randy.
Well, no one knows it more than Lou. He doesn't like missing receivers, and obviously no good quarterback does. And those are the ones, as you said, you'd like to have back again because they'd be 6.
Lorick swings it out to Jeremiah. He's got the first down, and he's into the Western 34-yard line. A nice little swing pass from quarterback Lou Lorick to running back Elio Jeremiah, and it was up to John McVay to bring him down, but not before a 10-yard pickup.
Oh, that's a good-looking play, too. He sends number 5, Mike Sarashka, the deep threat, straight down the field, opens things up for that little swing pass to Elio Jeremiah, and known as a great runner, had 19 catches on the season and picks up a much-needed first down.
On the run, throws, and the catch is made. I'll tell you what always impresses me about the Vanier Cup is Randy Halstead makes the catch for Calgary. The quality of play that people who are not accustomed to seeing university football in Canada see in this game, it always amazes me. I think I've seen some of the best football of the year in this game.
There's no question, Pat. Generally, when you get down to this type of game, you have the 2 best teams as we have today, and they don't get here by making mistakes. So you don't see that many mistakes. You see excellent football, and it provides for a great deal of excitement.
On first down, this is Jeremiah. He bounces off that hit, and Jeremiah has another first down for Calgary inside the 10-yard line at about the 8. Michel Roy, the safety number 21, was the last man between Elio Jeremiah, who showed you his great balance. He took the hit, bounced off it, and went 14 yards inside the 10 to the 8-yard line.
That's exactly what we talked about earlier, in that you have to wrap up Elio when you get the chance to make the tackle, because he will spin off you and he will go for extra yards.
Well, that was the catch by Randy Halstead, but Jeremiah's run and now play action.
Lorick, a pass intended for Halstead again. He felt there was interference by Marius Locke, but no flag comes down, so it'll be 2nd and goal. Now we've got a little bit of rough stuff. Randy Halstead, incidentally, is the oldest player in this game at age 30. He should be up here with us.
I think maybe Randy Halstead had a bit of a beef there as Marius Locke got the arm on him. Nevertheless, you know what I like? They got the interception by Wade Buteau, and Lou Lorick's been able to direct him down the field. He's got a big play coming up here, but so far he's done a good job.
When you get the opportunity inside the 10 again, you have to stick it in the end zone, and hopefully we'll see what Lou can do now.
This took the words right out of my mouth. You've got to put it in the end zone. Lorick slipped, but he got the pass away. Touchdown, Calgary. The reception by Mike Siraska. From Bishop Carroll High School in Calgary, Mike Siraska, no stranger to the end zone here at Varsity Stadium. He caught the winning pass from Greg Vavra in 83. He catches the go-ahead touchdown for the Dinosaurs here in the second quarter with 10:53 left to play.
Well, and it's not surprising that Lou Lorick would go his way. He was the leading receiver on the season, 9 touchdowns in a regular season, now adding his 10th in the Vanier Cup.
And let's give Lou Lorick lots of credit, too. He slipped coming out of there, but was able to finally get the ball away. Siraska made the catch, and with his determination got into the end zone. The point after is good. The Dinosaurs lead the Mustangs 8-6. This is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Football Championship.
Mike Siraska coming to join me. Mike, you were here back in 83. That had to be a big touchdown. Tell us about it.
We know we can throw on him, and it's going to be a throwing game now, I think, because it's a mud bog in the middle of the field. And we just wanted to try and get some motion. We marched all the way down, and we usually try and throw when we get near the end zone. We've been successful with it. Tried to get a little motion and a little pick on the side there, and I just broke it open and just going to go straight in the end zone. No moves today. It's too slippery.
And you're convinced you can throw on them?
It's going to be a throwing game, and I'm convinced that we're going to come out on top. We're going to try hard.
Thank you, Mike.
That was Mike Siraska. Now we're getting set to watch Edgel Shreve, number 28, or Mike McAuliffe, 27, take this kickoff from Milan Marjanovic of the Calgary Dinosaurs. And this is Shreve. Did he put the ball on the ground? No. Western still has possession outside their 30 at the 34-yard line.
Did I hear Mike Soroska say they tried to pick down there?
That's not allowed.
They're not supposed to do that. That's cheating.
If you ask him again, I don't think he'll admit that to you, but it was a pick pattern. We saw him working on it in practice yesterday.
Well, whatever it was, you know what I like? They took the interception, they got the advantage and went down and scored some points. And boy, does that give the defense a lift when the offense takes advantage of their big plays.
And I want to know what offense anywhere in football that doesn't have a pick down around the goal area.
You have to be subtle. They're never in your playbook as picks, per se, but you always have them there.
It is first down, Western. The ball just inside their 35-yard line, and now they trail by 2. Samway's pass was behind the intended receiver, John Moffitt. And in defense of Steve Samways, he's down in an area of the field that is a little bit slippery, as was evidenced when Lou Lorick finally had to get rid of the ball to Soroska earlier.
Yeah, he just didn't get a good grip on that football. He had the receiver open, but as we saw, the ball just fell short. I think you're going to see that happening as the game wears on. You know, it's tough to keep those balls dry. As best officials tried to do so, you're still going to get a lot of moisture on that ball.
10 minutes left to play in the first half of an 8-6 ball game in favor of Calgary. Samways going deep and just beyond the outstretched hands of John Moffitt.
Again, I think that's the same play they ran early in the first quarter. It came up big for them, and it just has a play where John Moffitt takes it down the sidelines. Calgary was in a 3-deep zone, and he ran by Darcy Kopp. Just couldn't manage to haul it in.
Well, it really was pretty good coverage, though, by number 32, Darcy Kopp. He got the arm in there, and I think that's what John Moffitt was complaining about at the end of the play. He said, heck, Darcy Kopp, he interfered with me. Don't give him a break. He was the Defensive Player of the Year. I'm the guy that needs the breaks, not Darcy.
So Jeff Cruz will be punting to either Doug Peterson or Darcy Kopp. And Cruz puts this one high. It's not particularly deep, but it's great punt nevertheless. Kopp is grabbed at the 35-yard line. He made the catch at the 37, but that great cover team of the Western Mustangs was there to make sure he didn't go any further. It's an 8-6 ball game. Calgary leads Western. This is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Football Championship.
Show 86.
Notice how I've grown? Jake Godore's standing about 2 feet below me here. Former commissioner of the Canadian Football League. Jake, you are the honorary chairman of the Vanier Cup, and you must be very proud of what's gone on this week and this game.
Well, that's for sure, Bill, and the football game today is a most enjoyable one. The field condition isn't affecting the play. I'm enjoying it very much.
Does it have any comparison with what you used to during Grey Cup?
Very much so, and I'm still enjoying them.
All right. Jake, I don't know if you anticipated the offense in this weather. I didn't.
No, they've adjusted very well to it. Both teams are moving the ball up and down the field as though the field condition was perfect.
And they're ready to go. Thank you, Jake Godore.
Thank you, Bill.
Lorick's toss goes to Jeremiah. And, of course, on a field like this, Ilio may as well have just gone straight ahead because there's no way you're going to be able to reverse yourself. He tried to put on the brakes, skidded a little bit. Paul Geddes was there, number 45, to make the stop. And Geddes, like so many on this club, is from Lucas High School in London, the same place where Steve Samways went to school.
Well, the key for Western on that play, though, was the outside linebacker, number 40, Claude Ferrier, because he just forced Jeremiah to go back inside where he knew he was going to get some help.
So the loss is about 3 yards, make it 2nd and 13 Calgary. The ball at their 32-yard line. They lead it 8-6, and Lorick wants to put it up. Fires it straight downfield for Randy Guy. He's got it inside the Western 35. What an adjustment to the football by Randy Guy, with John McVeigh providing the defensive coverage. A 46-yard gain from Lou Lorick to Randy Guy.
One of Lou's strengths as a quarterback is that he throws the ball deep as well as anybody I have ever seen. He gets good loft on the ball. He allows the receiver to get downfield and adjust to the football. And that's what you get when you are able to do that, is big plays.
Well, you know, that's what I really think the key is, Greg, is he gets that hump on the ball, as we used to call it. It's easy to run underneath.
The pass intended for Sharaska is deflected away by John McVeigh, who's probably a little pumped up himself right now because he's somewhat upset that Randy Guy got in behind him for that big gainer.
He makes a great play there, John McVeigh. Couldn't hang on to it, but, you know, if he does not make that knockdown, Mike Soroshka's got a chance to do a little running with the football.
It is 2nd and 10. Calgary, the ball at the Western 31-yard line. Lorick wants to put it up. Flags are down. The screen goes to Tony Spallettini. And Spallettini is inside the 25 to about the 24. He's well short of the first down by at least 3 yards. But there are flags down on the field.
Well, I suspect number 66, Bruce Elliott, will be called offside on the Western Mustangs. And what that will do if they are short of the first down, give them 2nd and 5 once again.
Well, I'd be flabbergasted if Calgary didn't accept the 5-yard penalty, make it 2nd and 5.
Well, they will.
Western number 66, 2nd down repeated.
As Lee pointed out, Bruce Elliott just jumped the gun a little, so it'll be 2nd and 5 Dinosaurs. Ball is spotted at the Western 26. Now, we talk about big plays. This is a big play defensively for Western because they trailed by 2, 8-6, with 7 minutes, 45 seconds left to play in the first half. Lorick swings it out. Jeremiah's got it, and he's got the first down inside the 20 to about the 19-yard line. The stop was made there by Michel Roy, the safety who moved across to make the tackle, but not before Jeremiah picks up the necessary yardage for the first down.
Greg, I think that's just a super call on 2nd and 5.
It really is. It's a safe play. It's just a flare pattern out of the backfield, and unless Western can get somebody wider than Elio, he just takes the angle to the sidelines, and he'll get a first down 9 times out of 10.
Tell me something. Do they send in the plays to Lou Lorick, or does he call his own
They
game?
do. Lou, the plays are signaled to Lou, and that will happen through the first half. When they get into the second half and Lou is able to get a feel for the game, they generally will let him call his own plays.
Well, that's interesting.
What did you do in Calgary this year, the Stampeders? Who called the plays?
The Stampeder quarterbacks were responsible for the game that was called. The coaching staff did the best to go over the game plan with you, and then when you got out there with the feel of the game, you were on your own.
It is first down, Dinosaurs. The give is to Jeremiah inside. Again, flags are all over the field. Look at Jeremiah. Just keep those legs pumping. And he's in very close to the 10-yard line. He'll have a pickup of 8 if it stands, but there are penalty markers all over the field. Procedure penalty against Calgary. Bring it back. Too bad, because it was a real great effort by Elio Jeremiah.
Well, we're going to have a look at it anyway, and this is really the second time he's just banged off. It looks like a pinball machine going through that line there.
Illegal procedure, Calgary, number 45. It'll be first down repeated.
Pete Oler, the right tackle, obviously moved a little ahead of the snap of the ball. So they'll bring it back to the 24-yard line, make it 1st and 15 Dinosaurs at that point. Elio Jeremiah at 5'8", 190, and Tony Spallettini at 5'10", 228 pounds, have been through high school and through university together. Great fouls on and off the field. Lorick's pass is caught by and Randy Halstead almost got into the end zone, but they rule he is forced out at about the 1-inch line by Marius Locke, number 29. A 23-yard gain by Randy Halstead from Forest Lawn High School in Calgary, who took some time off, is back at university now at age 30.
Well, the old post corner really had Marius Locke all tied up in knots, and a big catch and a big play. He's got them at the 1-yard line.
Quarterback sneak here or what?
They generally will run the quarterback sneak, although this time they run it straight ahead. And
or they'll give it to Elio Jeremiah.
One of those two things will happen.
And Jeremiah has the touchdown for the Dinosaurs, who at one point trailed 6-0 in this ball game. Now they lead it 14-6 with the point after yet to come.
Well, once again, Lou Lorick puts together an outstanding drive. Hit Randy Guy on the long bomb, 46 yards, then a great pass and run play to Randy Halstead, and Jeremiah caps it off with the 1-yard run.
drive was set up by the 46-yard pass by Lou Rollick to Randy Guy. And I had mentioned that Lorick had a much better year in 1984. He was actually a Heck Crichton finalist last year when he threw 21 touchdown passes. But things didn't work out as well this year. Did he have any injuries at all, Greg, or what was his problem?
Injuries weren't a prime concern of Lou's this year. What Lou had to contend with was dealing with a new set of receivers. He lost some excellent receivers last year in Ken Zarka and Josh Borger, and those two gentlemen provided a lot of experience and helped Lou last year, and now it was Lou's job this year to help the younger receivers, and obviously it takes a little bit of time for those things to work out.
And work out it did, because here are the Calgary Dinosaurs in the lead in the Vanier Cup of 1985, and in the lead now by 9 points. Despite the fact they trailed it at one time, it is now Calgary 15, Western 6. This is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Football Championship.
Lou Lorick is with me, the quarterback. Lou, I'd like to ask you how you're able to move the ball so well in such terrible condition.
Well, we're trying to keep it close to the sidelines. You know, the middle of the field is really pretty muddy out there right now, and the footing's a lot better close to the sidelines, and that's where we're trying to throw the ball and run the ball.
Do you feel that you can throw against this team better than run?
Well, I think we can do both. You know, right now we're having pretty good success with the throw. You know, they're playing some pretty soft cushions out there, and we're taking advantage of it pretty good.
Congratulations on a fine game thus far.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Edsel Shreve, number 28, Mike McAuliffe, number 27, are back to return this kickoff that they await from Milan Marjanovic. As the Calgary Dinosaurs spotted the University of Western Ontario Mustangs a 6-0 lead and have roared back with 15 unanswered points with 6 minutes and 37 seconds left to play in this second quarter. Shreve takes it at the 21-yard line and gets out over the 35 to the 36. So now Western, who started so impressively with Steve Samways at quarterback, have to get that offense cranked up again, because Calgary has started to dominate the game on both sides of the football, and it's incumbent upon Samways, the veteran quarterback of that Mustangs club, who had an outstanding year passing for more than 1,700 yards, to lead them out of the doldrums. In this quarter, Samways is 0 for 3 in passing. And they give it on that little counter play by the inside receiver, Bill Stark. Reminds me of a Ronnie Stewart play with the Ottawa Rough Riders years ago, where they just bring the slot back around on the counter and he picks up about 4 yards.
Well, he's 6'1" and 210 pounds. He's an excellent size for a slot back, so why not try and get him involved in the running game?
Pickup was very close to 5 yards, so make it 2nd and a long 5 for the Mustangs. And they do it to the other side now, and again this is Stark. They just lined him up in the other slot and brought him back to this side, but Calgary, ever alert to the play now, were able to bottle it up at the 38-yard line thanks to Wade Buteau, number 51, and Dean Lang, number 70. The two linebackers on that side.
Boy, has the momentum really shifted in this football game, and it was done by number 51, Wade Buteau. He made the play there, but he made that interception in the first quarter, and that has really turned this football game around.
It really has. I think it's imperative now that Western get back to what they do well, try to shift the momentum back in their favor, or Calgary may threaten to run away with it.
Well, there you saw Wade Buteau. He just shot the gap with those pulling guards, and boy, he reads well for a young linebacker. Well, he's not a young linebacker. He's been around for 4 years.
Jeff Cruz takes his time, but doesn't get a particularly good punt away. But he's on the move. He'd like to recover this. Won't get the chance, though, because Doug Peterson was there to pick it up for the Dinosaurs and get it to the 50-yard line. And when you're talking about Petersons, boy, are they an athletic family. 2 of them, twin brothers, playing with the Dinosaurs. One with you guys with the Stampeders, and one with the Vancouver Canucks in hockey.
That's right. Actually, the older brother, Brent, who was with the Vancouver Canucks, was my Bantam football quarterback coach in Bantam football when we were in grade 9. He went on to become a professional hockey player. Greg is an excellent athlete and plays defensive halfback with us, with the Stampeders, and Doug and Darren are both super athletes and are both with the University of Calgary Dinosaurs.
And And so Calgary starts from the 50 with a handoff or a fake handoff to Jeremiah, and then they fire it out for Sharaska, but it goes incomplete. Good fake by Lorick. But unfortunately, the pass was not completed. It's funny, as I look at Sharaska running back to the huddle, he doesn't look 5'11", but that's what they list him at, as 5'11", 165 pounds.
Usually the guys that are about 5'8" are always 5'11". They can't cheat and say they're 6 foot, so they do the next best thing.
Lorick looks downfield. Oh, nice looking pass as he fires it to Randy Guy. That was a great play all around. Lorick faked the swing pass to Jeremiah, looked downfield, just fired it in there, completes it for 15 yards, but unfortunately, it's going to come back. We've got a penalty marker against the Dinosaurs.
Well, Randy Guy did a good job. When he got in the open hole between the linebacker and the defensive back, he slowed down and stayed in that area. A lot of receivers will run through it, but he did a good job. As Pat told you, though, nevertheless, it will come back.
Randy has an excellent feel for vertical seams in the defensive structures that various
illegal
teams run.
procedure, Calgary, number 5. It'll be second down repeated.
And all the Dinosaurs, as a group of receivers, do practice that and work on that, settling in a hole. And it's Lou's responsibility, obviously, to read that, find them in the hole, and get the ball to them.
You know, I found that was the toughest thing I had to learn as a receiver. That once you're in that open spot, stay there. Don't go running into coverage. And these young receivers are doing a great job.
So it's 2nd and 15 Dinosaurs, and they give to the fullback this time, and Tony Spallettini is wrapped up as he gets just beyond the line of scrimmage by Ed Zinemirsky, number 50, the defensive end. Zinemirsky, one of the few people playing football anywhere from Dunnville, Ontario. And on 3rd down, Calgary will be punting.
Jeez, I think the cards and letters could be coming in from Dunnville shortly.
The only person I ever knew who was athletically inclined in Dunnville was Jim Gregory, the former general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And that's not always an indication of being athletically inclined if you're associated with the Maple Leafs. Good punt on 3rd down by Manich. It chases Michel Roy back. But Roy does a good job. He just takes it right up the middle of the field, does a little bit of dancing to get to the 35, and a penalty marker falls late in the play. And holding will be the call on the punt return team, the University of Western Ontario Mustangs. And Lee Feddersen, whom we call the spy, wanted me to mention that before the official gave his indication, but I wouldn't.
Well, some guy almost lost his jersey.
I think that was Wade Buto, who was in position to make the tackle, and one of the Western punt return men decided to grab a hold and take him for a ride.
And so the ball will now be spotted inside the 20-yard line with 3 minutes and 25 seconds left to play in this first half. Calgary 15, Western 6. At one time, it was 6-0 Western. The Dinosaurs have fought back for 15 unanswered points. Will Steve Samways be prepared to play it safe? No, he's going to put it up. And the southpaw thrower fires, but it's incomplete, looking for John Moffat. Moffat, another homebrew from London, Ontario. The ball just went through his hands, as he tried to make a diving catch. So with 3 minutes left to play in this second quarter, Calgary is leading it 15-6. This is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Football Championship.
Doug Mitchell, coach of the University of Toronto Blues. Doug, give us your first half scouting report.
Well, I think both teams at first were sorting themselves out. Calgary's doing the things that got them here, running the ball well with Elio Jeremiah, and Western's trying to throw the ball more than I think they should be running it. And they're doing some uncharacteristic things like getting penalties in key situations. And it's really hurt them. It's put them in bad field position, and they're struggling right now. They're forcing the play.
Thank you, Doug.
On 2nd and 10, Samway throws, and the catch is made. There was as close a coverage as you could possibly have, but Rick Wilkinsburg from Toronto was able to make the catch for the University of Western Ontario and get them out of a king-size jam.
Well, Greg, I'm sure you'll appreciate this throw by Steve Samways. He let the ball go before Wilkinsburg even made his final cut on that hook pattern. It was right on target.
Again, Steve has an excellent feel for timing, and his receiver did a good job finding the hole and reacting to the football.
That's the first down in this quarter for Western. And it comes at an opportune time and gives them possession at their 40 as Blake Marshall is the ball carrier for a pickup of only a couple at best. But, you know, it's funny, head coach Doug Mitchell of the University of Toronto was saying that he feels they should run the football more. But I think that maybe they were a little bit discouraged in doing so because Calgary has just completely shut down Blake Marshall anytime that he has carried it.
Well, Calgary's front seven is an excellent group with the front line and the linebackers. And I would hate to disagree with Mr. Mitchell, but I think when you have somebody that throws the ball as well as Steve Samways does, especially in this type of weather condition, that's what you do because that's what you're going to be successful doing.
It is second down, 8 yards to go as Samways will put it up. And throws complete for the first down. Now there's a guy who really does know what quarterbacking is all about. He finds his big tight end, Tim Spriel, and I had mentioned before that Nabi Workowski had said he's the kind of a guy that can buy himself some time. Not a great runner, but that's what he did here.
Well, Steve's best move here as he moved outside the pocket was to not lock himself into running the football. He kept the ball up behind his ear until he was ready to throw the ball. He found a receiver before he hit the line of scrimmage, and obviously it results in a 12-yard gain.
And so the ball is now just on Western side of midfield at the 53.5-yard line with 1:45 left to play in the second quarter. Mustangs need points. They trail by 9. Samways' throw is way over the head of the intended receiver, number 17, John Moffett. And it may well have been that Samways did not see anything open, and he figured, well, let's get rid of the football.
Yeah, I think you're right, Pat. He just decided, well, let's just throw this ball out of bounds, stop the clock, and start over. 2nd and 10's not that bad. I've been moving the glove pretty well. Not going to take a chance. The defense I don't like.
Samways is a good size. He's 6'3", 210 pounds. Is not a threat to run, really, but has a good arm, as he certainly displayed early in the ball game and is showing to good advantage right now. 1:35 left to play in the second quarter. 2nd and 10 Western. The ball on their side of midfield. Samways over the middle. He was looking for Rick Wilkinsburg again, but the coverage was just too tight, and again, the pass had no chance to be completed.
Well, even better than the coverage was the pressure from Big 93, Kent Warnick, coming right up the middle. They ran a little stunt with their lineman. He came free, and at 6'7", 260 pounds, when he's right in your face, it's a pretty difficult guy to either throw over or around.
So Doug Peterson and Darcy Kopp, numbers 14 and 32 respectively, will drop back in anticipation of a 3rd down punt from Jeff Cruz. With 1:31, I would think Cruz will be punting. And it's a pretty good boot. Kicks it away from Kopp, who takes it at the 16-yard line. And he gets to the 25. And that's where the Dinosaurs will take over with 1:19 left to play in this second quarter.
All right, Greg, you're the quarterback. 1:19, you've got the lead. You're at your 25-yard line. Not horrible field position. What do you do?
If I was a quarterback right now, I'd be throwing about a 10-yard out pattern, and if we can get something rolling, just keep the ball at the sidelines, move it out of bounds, stop the clock, try to get a field goal out of the last 1:19.
Well, Lorick does put it in the air, and the pass is complete. Number 38 for the Calgary Dinosaurs is Tim Carbonek. It's funny, that surprises me. I thought that maybe they'd sit on the lead, but you're absolutely right. They're going to go for it.
Well, having a little bit of an understanding of Coach Cannellan's philosophy, I don't think he likes to sit on any lead, and I think you'll see him put it up again right now.
And Lorick wants to do just that. He throws. Sharaska makes the pass. Completion at the 52-yard line. The kind of a pass that Greg Vavra told you just moments ago that he thought they would be throwing. They do so. They pick up another first down. And they still have 59 seconds left to play in this second quarter.
He did a great job getting out of bounds. You stopped that clock, and boy, I'm impressed with Lou Lorick. They've really done an excellent job controlling that football here in the first half after that interception.
Well, you're seeing the Lou Lorick that people saw last year, and that's exactly why he was a Shenley nominee for Most Outstanding Player in Canada.
Lorick throws, and the catch is made. And it'll be another first down for the Dinosaurs. Randy Beck, the only freshman starter on the Calgary club, makes the catch. Good for about 14 yards. And Calgary, now with 52 seconds left on the clock, are in a position to get some more.
You know, even though the pass wobbled a little bit, he just put it in exactly the perfect spot for Randy Beck to make the play. And now 3 first downs in a row. Lou Lorick has really done an excellent job.
Doesn't always matter how it gets there, as long as it gets there.
Oh, well, I played with Ronnie Lancaster, and Ronnie be the first to tell you his weren't always the prettiest, but they sure got there when they were supposed to.
Randy Beck, who is from Chestermere Lake High School, which is probably the smallest school in Canada playing tackle football, is the only freshman starter on that Calgary club, and he gives them some extra time as the Dinosaurs called a timeout. Quarterback Lorick went over to talk with Peter Cannellan on the sidelines. They've got it all sorted out now. Lorick, who started shakily, has really come on strong. He's 10 of 17 for 165 yards to this point. And the Dinosaurs have a first down. The swing pass to Jeremiah, but that one was a little underthrown. And consequently, it goes incomplete, but we've got a penalty marker on the field. And who is it against? The Mustangs for being offside, or the Dinosaurs? No, it's Mustangs offside.
Western getting just a little edgy now, trying to get a little extra pressure on quarterback Lou Lorick. It's about the 3rd time in his first half they've jumped offside.
I think each of the down linemen and possibly even the linebackers.
It will be first down repeated, 1st and 5.
Understand that they do have to get pressure on Lou if they're going to be successful this afternoon.
And I'm not sure which quarterback it was that said it's easier to throw the ball on this kind of a field because there is very little pressure from the defense because they can't get their footing either. Lorick throws, and it's complete to Spallettini. The screen pass they had hoped to set up. They were hoping that it would go much further than it did, but it gets very close to the 30, and that's good enough for another first down after that offside penalty. With 42 seconds on the clock, it is stopped momentarily.
Well, there's big Kent Warnick on the sidelines, the towering defensive end, getting a little assistance from the training staff. Tape those fingers together.
Lorick's pass was very nearly picked off. He was looking for Randy Halstead, but there was a good defensive play by Marius Locke, number 29, the cornerback on that side. And Locke, again, like so many, is from Lucas High School in London. I'll tell you the amazing thing about the Calgary Dinosaurs, 85% of them are from the city of Calgary, which to me is just unbelievable.
Again, one of Coach Cannellan's coaching philosophies is that you let the local boys play, because if you take up a roster spot with somebody from outside town, you take a roster spot away from somebody that's from Calgary.
And it's a philosophy that has obviously worked for him. It's 2nd and 10. Drags her down as Lorick puts it high looking for Guy, and this one is intercepted in the end zone by John McVeigh, but there is a penalty marker down. Holding will be the call against Calgary. The interception in the end zone will stand, and Western has to be delighted at this turn of events.
Greg, I think a bad choice by Lou Lorick on who to throw to. They had a man-to-man coverage there with the John McVeigh deep in behind it. Tough pass to complete.
Well, possibly a little bit of a difference in philosophy between Lou and Coach Cannellan. I think that Coach Cannellan would have been satisfied with the field goal. Lou obviously wanted the touchdown, and it's just one of those things that happens in the course of a football game.
You know, we were talking about the number of people from Calgary and specifically from St. Francis High School. Who's the coach there?
The coach there is Gary DeMann, who's just done an excellent job with the program that he's had at St.
Holding, Calgary number 67, 2nd down repeated.
Yeah, okay, we didn't hear that. The coach at the St. Francis High School is
Gary DeMann.
Boy, what a job, I mean, this guy has to be doing in the high school program that he's got.
He really does. Gary does an excellent job with the talent that he has available. He has coached such names as the Forzani brothers, the Spallettini brothers, and now has the Jeremiah brothers all over Western Canada playing college football, so he obviously does a very good job.
The interception was not made in the end zone, so it is 2nd and 20 for the Dinosaurs. But the interception is most assuredly made on this occasion because Michel Roy, just playing center field, was there to bring it down at the 15-yard line.
Well, you know, we've complimented Lou Lorick in this entire first half, and what a good job he's done, but back-to-back passes that should not have been thrown. This one again in the coverage, deep zone, and Michel Roy just sits back there and waits on this ball, and he comes up with an interception.
Excellent play by Michel Roy, and I think Lou will tell you that ball sailed on him a little bit. He was over his intended receiver and right into the arms of the defensive back.
With just 19 seconds left to go and trailing 15-6, it'll be interesting to see what the University of Western Ontario Mustangs elect to do here. Do they go to the locker room and try to regroup, or do they put it up in the air? Steve Samways, number 7, is their veteran quarterback. He's at the controls, and he's going to throw it out there. John Moffat was the intended receiver, but he does not make the catch. Number 22, Dexton Blackstock, was there providing the defensive coverage. Let me ask you this, Greg. There's a new football coming into the CFL next year and presumably into the CIAU as well. Is it going to make that big a difference to you as a quarterback?
Actually, I don't really think it will. I've never had a problem throwing the J5Bs with all their inconsistencies. But the NFL ball, the ball that they say they are going to go to next year, will be a little bit of an advantage to the Americans coming up who aren't used to the Canadian football. It will be their home ball, and they won't have to make as big an adjustment to the Canadian game.
Good catch by Rick Wilkinsburg to get the ball out to the 40-yard line with 9 seconds left. Well, that kind of gives you the idea of the offense and the offensive potential that Western has as we take a look at Rick Wilkinsburg.
Well, he made just a great catch there, and give Steve Samways some credit. He put the ball right on the money. You know, both quarterbacks have done a pretty good job in this first half at reading coverage and throwing that football before the receiver makes his final break.
Steve is throwing the ball very well. He's throwing the ball right on the money. Their best pattern to this point in time is the in pattern. It seems to be getting into the vertical seams between the Calgary coverage, and they're being very successful doing that. I would be surprised if they go away from it now because they have established it. If they're going to be successful, I think they have to throw the ball consistently because obviously that is the tempo and the flow that has been set to this point in time.
And having said that, acknowledging, of course, that with just 9 seconds left, the Calgary Dinosaurs are playing it a little loose because they don't want anybody getting in behind them for the big score. But I would think that that interception and the defensive stand generally by Western will stand them in good stead in the second half, because had Calgary gone in for another touchdown and made it 22-6, your suggestion that it could have become a blow-up might well have come to pass.
No question. Western has kept it close, and now they go into the locker room down by 9, and it's anybody's football game in the second half.
So with just 9 seconds left, the game was held up momentarily while they got rid of one of the idiots who was running around on the field.
That's just university hijinks taking place, Pat.
Is that what it is? Samways going deep, looking for Moffat, but it's picked off. And this is Darcy Kopp, his 15th career interception. And it was Samways himself who came across to upend him. But what a fine play by Darcy Kopp from Father Lacombe High School. Makes the interception to snuff out the last drive of the Western Mustangs in the first half of play. And what an entertaining 30 minutes it was, as the Calgary Dinosaurs spotted Western a 6-point lead, then came roaring back with 15 of their own, and that's the way it stands. Calgary 15, Western 6, as we go to Bill Stevenson.
Pete Cannellan, before we talk about the game, I would like to congratulate you on being only the second man in the history of the CIAU to win the Coach of the Year honors twice. It was quite an honor.
Well, it really was, Bill, and I appreciate the comment. I guess one thing that's different this time is that the people that made it possible, the players, the parents, the administration, coaches and everything, were here to share it with me. And it's a team thing, and it's great to have the team here to do it.
Pete, your squad is playing extremely well, and I know that you figured it was going to be as tough a game as it is.
Well, it's a very, very tough game. It's a very physical game. Western Ontario is very well prepared. They have an excellent team. They're doing the things we expected them to do, and they're playing just as well as we thought they would.
So there are no surprises by Western. How about your squad? Have you done anything differently?
No, we haven't. We're doing the same things that we do, and we're just trying to do them as well as we can.
Will you change in the second half at all?
No, we won't.
All right. Thank you very much, Pete. Good luck and congratulations again. the winner of the Coach of the Year honors for the second year in the history of the CIAU. It's only happened once before. This is the Vanier Cup, Canada's Intercollegiate Football Championship. Well, we had a fine week that took place in this town, as you have heard in the pregame show, and Pat and Leaf and Greg have been telling you during the game. And one of the highlights was the Coach of the Year banquet that took place. And at the Coach of the Year banquet, it was, as a matter of fact, a very, very interesting one. And it was also a situation whereby the coach himself, Pete Connellan, proves that he's not only a fine football coach, he's a very humorous speaker. So we're going to go to the Coach of the Year in a moment, but first let's talk to a couple of gentlemen who are so instrumental in the success of the CIAU. And I speak of Carl Totsky, who is the president of the CIAU, and Bob Pugh, who is the executive vice president. Let's go with the top guy first of all. Carl, you were talking, as a matter of fact, it interests me very much that you, I felt that maybe the people in Canada do not give Canadian intercollegiate football and Canadian intercollegiate sports the credit it deserves.
Well, I think we all suffer from a little bit of the problem where we try and compare our product and what we're doing, what happens in the United States, and with the great population disparity that they have, we seem to downgrade the things that we are doing. We felt that this week has been a super build-up to the game, the organization, everything that went on in Toronto was just great, and we felt that what we had in place for the Saturday afternoon game was just great, and I think we're seeing it this afternoon.
We are. You know something? We have had the privilege on CTV of doing this game for several years, and the thing about it, the week in the game, it gets better every year.
Well, the conditions aren't greatest, but when you see the kind of plays they're making out there, the catches, the runs, the tackles, you know, there's a quality program in place at both these institutions and many throughout the country, and they're producing good football players, and they're well coached, and the skills they have are really great.
Thank you very much, Carl. Bob, talking about the weather, as Carl was, there's no doubt it's a problem, but that's football.
Well, that's right. You know, this is real Canadian football weather, actually, and we're very fortunate here in Toronto at this time of year, and it's not that bad. A little wet, a little damp, but I think the players are executing very, very well, and we have a good crowd. We're pleased.
The thing that has impressed me is the caliber of players in the colleges in Canada, the universities, and the way they have improved.
Well, I think the young men involved are working at it much harder. I think football now is almost a 12-month-year vocation. They're into the weights in the off-season, and I think the coaching has improved considerably in this last 5 to 10 years. I think that kind of a combination, Bill, is very indicative out here this afternoon. And also, I think the number of players that are getting drafted every year by the CFL, and I think they're proving themselves in that quality football program. So it all enhances our activities and gives our program some credibility.
Gentlemen, congratulations. You deserve it for a job well done. Bob Pugh, Carl Totsky of the CIAU, and this is the Vanier Cup, the Intercollegiate Football Championship. Well, as I told you, the coach of the Calgary Dinosaurs, Peter Connellan, is a very funny speaker, and he enthralled everybody at the Coach of the Year luncheon that took place in Toronto earlier this week. So let's go to that luncheon. I know you'll enjoy it fully. The Coach of the Year luncheon is an affair where the Old Crow Society comes out and picks what they call the finest coach in Canadian university football. And this is the way they made the presentation.
I played at 1959 in the East-West College game for the University of British Columbia against University of Western Ontario. I won't announce the score because that was sort of insignificant anyway, and served for 1 year as the University of Calgary as an assistant coach. So I think that when I look back on the college game that I played in, it's always been a very fond memory in my life. And I would like to wish both teams a great afternoon, and may the best team win. And to the CIAU, have a great week, a great game, and thanks very much for all of your support.
And there's a quote here. He was being interviewed by reporter Steve Simmons, and who was asking about, hey, now you've done so well, I'm sure you're going to go on to bigger and better things. How about the CFL? And this man said, quote, I'm happy where I am. I feel this is my place. This is what I plan to do. So could you please give a warm welcome to our 1985 Frank Tyndall Canadian College Football Coach of the Year, Mr. Peter Connellan from the University of Calgary.
I went home. I had to get ready to come over here. I went home. There's nobody there. My wife isn't there. She's deserted me. I'm up there trying to dress myself. I get up there, and I can assure you people that I wear the pants in our family. And it started today because I tried to put my wife's pants on, and they don't, tell you the other thing, they don't fit. I rushed out of the hotel. I got out there. I grab a cab. I jump in the cab. The guy says, "Where do you want to go?" I said, "Take me to the hotel." He says, "Which hotel?" I said, "The hotel." He says, "Which hotel?" So I gave him 4 hotel names, but they're all in Calgary. But I got here, because I'm here. And I guess I tell you these stories because I think it illustrates that I'm not the brains behind our outfit. If I was, we'd really be in trouble. I really want to pay my respects and my homage really to the people that I think make our program. And there's absolutely no question in my mind. And I don't put them in any kind of order because I think to have a successful program, everything is of equal importance. And anyway, I really appreciate it, but more than anything, I appreciate the support of the people that are around me. And this is an award that I think reflects on our whole program, and our whole program deserves to receive it. And that's really who is getting the award, our whole program. Thank you very much.
You know, there is nothing like the fun of a college football game. It gets even better when you come to the Vanier Cup and the College Football Championship. You just get the air of the students on hand. We have them out on the field now performing. You have the cheerleaders, and it's great. And we also introduced the intercollegiate football champs, the All-Stars, at the Nestle's Luncheon. That took place yesterday at noon, so join us and meet them. An affair that is always a sellout is the Nestle's Luncheon that takes place the Friday prior to the game. And this is the affair in which the All-Star players from the CIAU are introduced. And here is Frank Sella, Executive Vice President of Nestle's.
In 1985, in a world that's often getting more complex around us, the examples that we pick, that the media provide us, often don't talk too much about the fun of it. But deep, deep down, it's probably, in my opinion, the most serious message that we can give to each other. Let's do things that we enjoy in a way that makes us better than anybody else could hope to be, in a way that allows us to perform in a way that brings the kind of recognition that you have today. Thanks to you for being our examples today, for reminding us that doing things for the fun of it is not out of style. Good luck to you in the future, and thank you.
All Canadian players, 1985 CIAU All-Stars. Andrew McConnell, defensive tackle, St. Francis Xavier. Angus Donnelly, defensive end, Carleton University. Dirk Lears, All-Star nose guard, York University. Rob Prodanovich, defensive line, University of Calgary. Alan Tracy, middle linebacker from St. Francis Xavier. Greg Miller, linebacker from Concordia University. Alex Troop, inside linebacker from Wilfrid Laurier University. Mike McLean, an inside linebacker from the University of Alberta. Darcy Kopp, defensive back, University of Calgary. Larry Oglesby, a defensive halfback from Mount Allison University. Mark Horvath, defensive back from McMaster. Mark Norman, cornerback, University of BC. And now the All-Canadian offensive team. Ross Garland is the center from the University of Manitoba. Louis Gaudry, the offensive guard from the University of Guelph. Renzo Passaretti, the offensive guard from St. Mary's University. Mike Shadd, offensive tackle, Queen's University. Irv Damon, offensive tackle from the University of Western Ontario. Rob Crefo, wide receiver from the University of Toronto. Kevin Sawatsky, wide receiver, University of Saskatchewan. Gavin McDougall, inside receiver, University of Ottawa. Marshall Toner, an inside receiver, University of Saskatchewan. Elio Jeremiah, running back from the University of Calgary. Larry Moore, the fullback from Queens. Steve Samways, quarterback, University of Western Ontario, your offensive team. This is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Football Championship. Well, it is a pleasure to have the Federal Minister of Sport, Otto Jelinek, with me. Otto, of course, being a former world-class and world champion athlete, but there is nothing, Otto, like a university event.
There sure isn't. You can feel the excitement from the beginning to the end, and the enthusiasm surpasses anything else in sport, and that's why I like to participate. And it's also good for sport right across the board, and that's why we, the federal government, through my ministry, supports the CIAU and university events of this nature.
Well, you just led right into it. How do you support them, Otto?
Well, there's direct contributions for the CIAU, over $1 million. But one of the things that we talked about last year was potential of scholarships. And I've been working with the provinces to try to find ways and means to find a better way, better system to expand our scholarships here in Canada so that our young kids don't have to go down to the United States. I'm telling you, I'm still working on it. It's a complex issue because it goes over the jurisdiction of provinces, but we're working with it with the provinces, and I hope that next year we'll have something more to report to you on that. In the meantime, we'll continue to support them the way we have been.
I know, I think that's a great idea. I've always been in favor of athletic scholarships, but there's a lot of opposition from athletic directors. They don't feel it'd be a good idea.
Well, you know, anything that you take in the right direction is going to receive opposition from somebody. I feel very strongly, and I know that a lot of my provincial counterparts do as well, that we've got to devise something that's going to keep our young Canadian students who are into athletics in Canada instead of going down to the United States. Whether it's going to be done on a sport-by-sport basis or whether it's going to be done on a more general basis, I don't know at this point in time. We're looking at some of those options, and I'm sure if we devise some of them, that it's not going to receive 100% agreement. But that's the way it is in politics, and that's the way it is in sports, as a matter of fact. My objective is to assist the Canadian young athletes to the best of my ability. And if we lose them south of the border, then I don't think I'm doing my job as well as I could be. And so that's what I'd like to do.
Well, I can't argue with that. Now, do you feel, as a result of the participation of your department, that sports and universities has been upgraded?
I think so. We've done two things. We're continuing to have direct contributions, as I pointed out, and of course one of the primary things that I started doing on the first day of becoming minister is trying to go to the private sector to get more involved in sports, in amateur sports generally, including university and college sports. And you can see by the many sponsors that are participating in the Vanier Cup this year alone that there's a great increase of private sector contributions. And I think between that and the federal government's and provincial government contributions is that they're doing pretty good, and I think it's for the benefit of Canada as a whole.
And Otto, you're still trying to get people like me and Pat to jog and do things like that.
I don't know. Pat Marsden should get out there. He's certainly getting everybody. He should get out and kick off sometime like I have done and see what happens with the ball.
Otto Jelinek, congratulations.
Thanks,
You're
Bill.
not getting bad. You get a lot of practice kicking off, too.
Not bad. I enjoy it very much, and I'm enjoying this game.
Thank you. This is the Vanier Cup, Canada's Intercollegiate Football Championship.
Well, welcome back to Varsity Stadium with the Calgary Dinosaurs out in front of the Western Mustangs, 15-6. And, you know, I thought it was a half that was really divided into two halves, with Western coming out strong. The initial drive by Steve Samways, and then, of course, a big play by Wade Butow turned the half around, and Calgary took control of the game. It was on that initial drive that Samways put together some excellent plays. Well, he threw a touchdown to Rick Walkensburg, but we don't have that. This is the second highlight we're going to show you after the Wade Butow interception. Mike Sharaska, number 5, their leading receiver on the season, comes up with a touchdown. In fact, that was his 10th touchdown of 1985. That was the interception by number 51, Wade Buteau, his 4th on the season. He's an outstanding linebacker, 4 years in the league, a phys ed student, and that was the play that I felt really turned the game around. We have with us Greg Vavra, the great quarterback of the Calgary Stampeders, and I wonder your impressions of the first half, Greg.
Well, I tend to agree with you, Leaf, that it was a two-half ball game. I think that Western came out and set the tempo, and then Calgary took it away from them, starting with the interception by Wade Buteau. They capitalized on that turnover, and that's the type of thing you have to do in this type of football game, is to capitalize on the breaks that you do get. The punter and the kicking game will play a part, hopefully, in the second half. And if Western is to get back in it, I think that they have to go with the same things that have gotten them here. I think they have to try to come out and establish a run, take the half away from Calgary, go to the short pass that was working for them in the first half, and hopefully score some quick points.
You know, we always make a lot of deals about the field conditions, and they really are not that great right now. Do you think it plays that much of a factor for these guys?
I really don't. I think Western is used to this type of field condition. They have played 3 or 4, or I understand maybe up to 7 games in this type of field already this season. Calgary, it does have a little bit more of an effect on. They play on artificial turf at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. They're not used to the bad field conditions, but when you get to this point in the season, you really don't care. You're happy to be here. You don't want to make mistakes and give it to the other football team. But those are the things that the Calgary is thinking going into the second half.
All right, this is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Championship.
Andrews, who is the head of the Vanier Cup committee that has staged this tremendous week, is with me. Don, you've got one other big function to take care of, and there's a lucky fan with us.
Yes, that's for sure, Bill. We have a draw for a Ford brand new 86 car. I have the winning ticket in my hand here, and I have Mr. Gogi Gruel from Brantford, who I believe has the other half. Can I see it? We can make this official.
All right, Mr. Gruel, let's see it.
There's the winning official. Mr. Gogi Gruel is the winner of our car for 1986. I'd like you to meet Mr. Rick Wilson from the Ford Company, who will make the presentation.
Rick?
Mr. Gruel, on behalf of the Vanier Cup Committee and Ford Motor Company of Canada, it's our pleasure to present you the keys to a 1986 Ford Escort GT. And you might say, Bill, on a #1 day for Canadian football, #1 car in the world. Congratulations to you, sir.
And Mr. Gruel, congratulations. Your son was in the kick and throw contest.
My son was in the pass and punt. He was here last year. He won the Ontario Championship. He didn't do very good this year, but I made it for him.
Terrific. Well, Mr. Gruel, you and the family, congratulations. Rick Wilson of Ford, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bill. Thank you.
And thank you, Don. And now, in a great football game, we're going to head off upstairs to Pat Marsden, Leif Pedersen, and Greg Vavra.
Thank you very much, Bill Stevenson. Let me bring you up to date on what has happened in this football game. A 91-yard march started it all for the University of Western Ontario Mustangs. Took them only 7 plays before quarterback Steve Samways passed 5 yards to Rick Wolkensberg, and that gave Western a 6-0 lead. Then Calgary picked up a single point to make the first quarter score 6-1 as you take a look at our halftime statistical story. The second quarter really did belong to the Dinosaurs, though. It culminated with a 5-yard pass from quarterback Lou Lorick to wide receiver Mike Shiraska. That gave Calgary an 8-6 lead. Then a 77-yard drive in 6 plays with a 46-yard pass from quarterback Lou Lorick, setting it up, and then a 1-yard plunge by Elio Jeremiah, and that was the second touchdown of the half for the Dinosaurs. They lead at 15-6. And that's the way it stands as we get set to open quarter number 3. The Western Mustangs, as they did to begin the football game, are going to take this kickoff. Ryan Marjanovic will be set to kick it off for the Dinosaurs, who started slowly but then really took over. The Mustangs dodged a bullet late in the second quarter with an interception with fewer than 45 seconds left to play. Let's see if they can keep that momentum going now to get back in this football game. Edsel Shreve. And he fights his way out to the 35, so quarterback Steve Samways is going to have pretty good field position with which to operate.
You know, Pat, this really is not a new situation for the Mustangs to be in. They've trailed a lot of clubs they've played going into the second half of ball games, and in fact in the league final this year against Laurier, trailed all the way during the game until the final minute when they were able to pull it out with the Blake Marshall touchdown. So I don't think you'll find themselves, there's Larry Haler, I don't think they're too worried at this point. 9 points is not a great deal to make up.
Steve Samways begins this second half having completed 9 of 18 for 154 yards and 1 touchdown. And his first pass in the third quarter is complete over the 40 to about the 42-yard line. And who do you think that could be? Blake Marshall coming out of the backfield?
I believe it was, Pat, number 30. It's becoming ever increasingly difficult to see the numbers with the mud on the uniforms, but there you get a good look at number 30, Blake Marshall, sneaking through and making a nice catch for the first down.
So the pickup was about 6 yards, making second down, 4 yards to go. We're just underway here in the third quarter from Varsity Stadium in downtown Toronto. And Samways does not get it away this time. As a matter of fact, the ball comes loose because he was jarred by Jeff Sawchuk, the defensive end from Winston Churchill High School in Calgary. And though it was recovered by Western, they'll be forced to punt.
Oh, big 6'6", 246-pound defensive end. Somebody missed the blocking assignment and left Steve Samways to pick him up. He fumbled the football, but they were able to recover.
So Doug Peterson and Darcy Kopp will drop back, numbers 14 and 32 respectively. 14 is Peterson, 32 is Kopp, who had an interception himself late in that second quarter to receive this punt from Jeff Cruz. As you can see, it's been tough kicking the football here today. It's very difficult, of course, when your foot, which is planted, is slipping all over the field after you make the catch from center. He gets it away. And it bounces down to Darcy Kopp. And Carpen's very alert. He just puts his head down and gets to the 45. And so that's where the Calgary Dinosaurs are going to put it into play with quarterback Lou Lorick, who really came on in that second quarter. He finished up the half having completed 11 of 20 for 173 yards. He had 1 touchdown pass thrown in there, that one to Mike Sharaska. And as a result of his generalship, they lead it 15-6, they being the Calgary Dinosaurs. Jeremiah, the workhorse of the first half in the running game for Calgary, takes the handoff and goes about 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7.
Actually, Pat, there was an interesting decision to start the second half. I think Peter Cannellan had the choice of either to receive the ball or to select the side of the field he wanted to defend, and I think they chose to select the north end of the stadium, I believe, to defend. And it's borne itself out already because Western got the ball and had field position around the 25-yard line. Calgary on the first turnover have field position at their own 45. Not a bad place to start your first drive of the second half.
And a very good point. As Lorick looks downfield, throws. Randy Guy's got it. He's got the first down in Western territory at the 49-yard line. There is a penalty marker on the field, but it's holding against Western, not against Calgary. So the 13-yard gain will stand, and the Dinosaurs will have the ball in Western territory at the 49-yard line.
Well, there's Peter Cannellan, Coach of the Year, and he has to be pleased the way his team has come out in the third quarter. Once again, not a pretty pass, but Randy Guy makes the adjustment, makes the catch, and you always like to start the second half with a first down on your first possession. They've been able to do that.
We're going to get the penalty call right now. Well, the penalty must have occurred after the first down had been made by Calgary, because they've moved it all the way down to the 34-yard line of the Mustangs, where it is first down, Dinosaurs, leading 15-6 here early in the third quarter. Elio Jeremiah gets to the outside, and Jeremiah just slips and slides his way down to about the 27-yard line, and he'll be within 1.5 yards of that first down marker.
Well, and he got a great block once again from Tony Spallettini. Watch number 37 go out and take on 66 Bruce Elliott. You can't quite see it, but that enables Elio Jeremiah to get to the outside, and once again they pick up great yardage on first down.
And when Calgary won it with Greg Vavra at the controls in 1983, that was the year that Tony Spallettini was selected the Rookie of the Year in the Western Intercollegiate Football League. So Spallettini, now a veteran of this club, and he's the man who'll lead the way for Elio Jeremiah. And this is Jeremiah, and he fights his way to about the 25, but he did not get the first down. It'll be interesting now because it appears as though they are inches short of the first down marker.
Pretty good penetration initially by 34 Matt Janes, the inside linebacker, and that slowed Jeremiah down just enough. to apparently keep in. Well, it's awfully close.
Well, as a matter of fact, they have it now. I thought they were going to spot it at the 25, and had they done so, it would not have been the first down, but it's inside the 25, and we'll take a look at Jeremiah as he fights and struggles to get that first down. And it's a pretty good job by the officials, because they gave him his forward point of advancement as opposed to after he'd been stuck where he bounced back to. So it is first down, Calgary. The ball inside the Western Ontario 25. Lorick looks, fires downfield looking for Randy Guy. That play didn't have a chance because Guy never did look around for the football.
Pretty interesting formation, though. They brought everybody to the right side and then tried to sneak Randy Guy back over the middle and catch Western flowing to try and cover the play, but not a good throw by Lorick at all.
So it'll bring up a 2nd and 10 now for the Dinosaurs. We have played 4 minutes of this third quarter. Calgary leads it 15-6. Oh, and wide open was Randy Beck, but Lorick couldn't get the football to him. Had he been able to throw a strike, it was an easy first down.
I think you're seeing now in the second half, Lou's having a much more difficult time both getting his feet planted and turned upfield, as well as throwing a wet football. So it'll be interesting to see how Steve Samways reacts to the same situation, where as the day goes on, the field will get a little bit worse than it is right now, and the football obviously will get a little bit wetter than it is right now.
Calgary lines up in field goal formation. The try will come from the 32-yard line. It's up, and it is good. A 33-yarder by Brent Matich has given the University of Calgary Dinosaurs an 18-6 lead. This is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Football Championship.
Queen's fullback Larry Moore, who's the #1 football player in Canadian college football, has been working on this CTV game with us today in the Vanier Cup. What do you think of it this far? What do you think about Western, who beat you fellows out eventually?
Well, I think they're up against it right now. Calgary, I think, is dominating the game. Western bench is just silent. I mean, they've got really no spirit at this point. Talking to Steve Samways, he says they're going to have to get the ball to Blake Marshall, but trailing by 12 points now against a team that they have not been able to run against. I don't know if they can afford to run the ball at this point.
I think they've got to throw, do you?
Well, they haven't had any other. I mean, they've had only a big play offense, so they haven't had any ball control at all. I don't think there's much alternative at this point.
Thanks very much.
Well, Samways throws, but the point was well made by Greg Gover. The pass is complete by Rick Wolkensberg, but if you saw that pass, that's the worst one that Steve Samways has thrown. He obviously had very great difficulty in delivering the football because of the conditions that are deteriorating. The gain, though, is 21 yards.
Well, he does a good job getting open, Rick Wolkensberg, and although it was not a great throw, he still made the catch, and Western has to have some big plays like this.
Lou Lorick, though, has got to be happy to see that pass because he says Samways throws the same way I do. Samways throws, and that one was very nearly picked off and should have been by Dexter Blackstock.
Steve Samways, a pass he should not have thrown into coverage, and that's what happens to the young quarterbacks so often. They just throw a ball where they should not, and, oh, Dexter, you should have come up with the catch there and had the interception. You might have gone for a long way.
Dexter did a good job of reading the play and was in the right spot to make the interception. Unfortunately, the slippery ball got away from him as well.
So on 2nd and 10, let's see what Samways elects to do with 9:33 left to play in this third quarter. Well, he couldn't buy enough time on that occasion, and so for the third time this afternoon, the Western quarterback is sacked back at his own 50-yard line. Wade Budo, number 51, and Jeff Sawchuk, number 62, were there to bring him down.
Nobody open downfield, and big pressure from those big linemen that Calgary has up front. They finally get to Steve Samways. Very difficult part of the field to maneuver around for a quarterback, and he just couldn't work himself free.
Actually, one thing on the replay that was interesting is you saw Steve Samways rotate the football. That means that he got it up slippery or wet from the center, and he felt he had to adjust it to throw the ball properly.
Darcy Kopp allows the ball to bounce to him. And he's dropped right at the 30-yard line. Kopp, incidentally, was with the Edmonton Eskimos in preseason training camp this year, and obviously has every intention of becoming a pro football player if, in fact, he is afforded that opportunity. We've got 8 minutes and 47 seconds left to play in the third quarter. The Calgary Dinosaurs are in control. The question is, can the #1 ranked University of Western Ontario Mustangs do something to get this game turned around? They have not been able to since the opening quarter. Calgary has really been dominant since that point. And one of the reasons is this man. Ilio Jeremiah picks up the first down as he crosses the 40 to the 41-yard line. Michel Roy and Steve Huggins, 21 and 22, combined on the tackle.
Oh, good job, too, by the left guard. Sean Lehman in the center, Paul Kerber to open a huge hole for Ilio Jeremiah. And boy, Calgary would like nothing better at this point than be able to run that football, take time off the clock, and just wear down that Western defense.
So it is first down, Dinosaurs. The ball at their 41. Again, this is Jeremiah. Oh, boy, did he have a whole group in front of him as he gets out over the 45 to about the 46 or 7. He'll pick up, well, 5 yards at least, and depending upon the placement of the ball, it might be 6 as Paul Geddes, 45, and Bruce Elliott, 66, finally bring him down.
Well, Greg, I think the offensive line of the Dinosaurs has just done a terrific job this afternoon. Blocked well for the run and really have given Lou Lorick the time to throw.
They're doing an excellent job. They've given Lou the time to throw. They've opened up some holes for Ilio, and now you're starting to see Peter Cannell in football. They will try to control the ball as much as they can, run the ball straight ahead. As long as they keep making first downs, they'll control the football game.
It is second down and about 5 yards to go. And talking about good jobs by people from Calgary, how about Jack Newman, our good friend who's the sports information director there? He has supplied us with so much information today. Jack really is one of the outstanding people in his jobs right across the country. Ilio Jeremiah slips through there, crosses the 50, and gets to, well, the placement of the ball is going to be all important, because if they put it at beyond the 51-yard line, he's got another first down.
You know what I like about Jack Newman and everybody involved with Canadian intercollegiate football is the enthusiasm everyone seems to have. It's a different kind of atmosphere, and I know, Pat, an atmosphere you and I really enjoy each year when we get to do the Vanier Cup.
Well, I'll tell you, though, it's so important to have a guy like Jack Newman who has great pride in his school, which is Calgary, and has great pride in his job, and he really helped us out. So it's third down, inches to go. Laura keeps it himself and has the first down by lots. The Dinosaurs now playing with a great deal of confidence. Not that they lacked any coming into the ball game, but they were set back on their heels by that opening drive. But it gave you the kind of team that they are. They just said, okay, we'll forget about that one. They came back strong in the second quarter and are now dominating both sides of the football with 6 minutes and 35 seconds left to play in this third quarter. And Calgary out in front of Western, 18-6. Here at Varsity Stadium in downtown Toronto, where yesterday there wasn't any precipitation, and today it has rained all morning and afternoon. Laura puts it up, but there was nobody in the area. Was that a spot pass, or did somebody just unable to get there, Greg?
Actually, I think that was excellent reaction by Lou Lorick. He came out to the right and saw that he was facing virtually a wall of Western defenders and decided to get rid of it. He got rid of it into an open area, and it's a harmless play.
Boy, Greg, I think that's one of the toughest things to teach a young quarterback is, you know, if something's not there, you know, don't take the sack, get rid of it.
It really is. It's one of the most important things that a young quarterback has to learn, whether he's in college football or in the pros, is to get the ball away and get it to a harmless area.
Western jump, they may have gotten back. Lorick now slips down, but they rule that Lorick's knee touched the ground, and he'll be dead back inside the 45-yard line.
And that's one of the key differences between college football and professional football, is that at any time in college football, if 3 points, your 2 feet and a hand touch the ground, you're virtually, you're called down. And I think you'll see Lou tries to regain, but his knee touches down, his hand touches down, and he can go no further.
And the voice that you hear with us this afternoon is Greg Vavra, the quarterback of the Calgary Stampeders. who just 2 short years ago was the quarterback of the same University of Calgary Dinosaurs, and he directed them to the Vanier Cup. And his alma mater is moving ever closer to that again. 18-6 they lead with 5:40 left to play in this third quarter. Edsel Shreve, 28, and Mike McCallum, 27, are back. And this ball bounces between them. A good punt by Brent Matic. A flag comes down. No yard's going to be the call, as the Mustangs finally cover the ball about the 17, but they'll also pick up the penalty yardage after that 48-yard boot by Brent Matic. This is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Football Championship. All right, there's the score. It's 18-6. Calgary leads Western. Western has got to get a move on here. They started out like a house of fire. First time they got their hands on the football, they took the opening kickoff 91 yards after 7 plays and tucked it in the end zone, and haven't been heard from since, primarily because Calgary has done such an outstanding job defensively, and the Dinosaurs' offense has looked after the scoring. But Steve Samways can hurt you in a lot of ways, as he drops back to throw. Fires down the middle. Great concentration on the football, but he couldn't hang on by Tim Spreel, the tight end. Bruno Jeremiah was there harassing him, and consequently Spreel just couldn't squeeze it.
Well, that's the second time number 21, Bruno Jeremiah, has made a big hit defensively for the Dinosaurs. In the first half, I think he knocked one out of the hands of Rick Walkensberg, and that time Tim Spreel could just not hang on to the football. It was the big hit.
And for those of you who have just joined us, Bruno Jeremiah is, of course, a brother of Elio Jeremiah. We don't have one player going both ways here this afternoon, but we do have a number of brothers. We've got the Petersons and the Jeremiahs, and we'll tell you about the others later. The pass is no good. It was intended for Rick Walkensberg, but he really took a big hit. And the Dinosaurs, of course, are really pumped up now. They know this game is theirs to win if they just play as well as they have been playing in the last 30 or 40 minutes.
Well, Steve Samway's a little upset. He was hoping his receiver could hang on to the football. He couldn't throw it any better than that. And Greg, how do you feel when that happens sometimes to you? You know, you put the strike in there, you probably took a hit throwing it, and then the guy coughs it up.
Well, of course, it's frustrating, but there's a lot of things. Obviously, he doesn't want to drop the football, and as a member of the team, you just have to give him the benefit of the doubt and give it right back to him the next time you get the ball.
Don't you get mad at him? No, come on, tell me the truth.
Jeff Cruz's punt will be handled by Darcy Kopp at the 43. And Kopp just brings it forward, gets to about the 46-yard line. And so again, the Dinosaurs are going to have good field position, and it all reverts back to the point that Greg Vavra made at the start of this quarter, that Coach Peter Cannellan elected to give the ball away because he wanted to put Western in a hole. He put them there to start the quarter. They've never been able to escape it, and the only points scored in this third period have gone to Calgary on a field goal. And once again, they start at their 46-yard line. This will be Jeremiah. Hey, he's a classy little guy. He moved the ball from one hand to the other, and those are things that you don't see from people who don't understand this game, but he obviously does. Bill?
Let me tell you, Pat, we have got everybody out here watching the action and enjoying it. Example, Pat Gillick, who is the vice president in charge of baseball operations for the Toronto Blue Jays. Pat, you look like you're a little cool, but are you enjoying the game?
Yes, I am, Bill.
Let's have a look at it.
Yeah, I wish we could have a little more offense out of Western. Seems like that Calgary offensively is controlling the ball. I'd like to see Western get their hands on the ball a little bit more, but all in all, it's been a pretty tight game.
Pat, before we say goodbye to you, what about the Blue Jays? You got any deals coming up?
Well, that's why we're out here today. I kind of like the quarterback from both Western and from Calgary. Larick and Samways both look like one right-hander and one left-hander. So if they can play baseball, we might have a couple guys right here.
Thank you, Pat. Enjoy the game.
Boy, what a job he did. The vice president of baseball operations of the Toronto Blue Jays, Pat Gillick, and he's the man who put that club together, and they came within one game of going to the World Series. It's 18-6. Calgary leads Western. This is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Football Championship.
Northport Hyundai.
We're back at Varsity Stadium in Toronto, and this game is not only going right across Canada, it's going to South Africa, I understand, Greg Babbitt. Tell us about it.
Well, it is. It's an interesting story that was told to me by the quarterback of the Dinosaurs, Lou Lorick. Ken Zarka, who we referred to earlier, was one of the Dinosaur slapbacks last year and in the previous 4 years, is in Johannesburg, South Africa, working for Fleur International. And Kenny was able to get through from South Africa, talk to the boys from the University of Calgary, phoned home immediately following that, and had the line fed through the TV into his telephone. So the boys would like to say hello to Ken Zarka, who is somewhere in South Africa at this point in time.
Well, say hello to all our fans over there, because I know Leaf's got a lot over there, haven't you?
Oh, sure, yeah. I tell you, the only thing I wouldn't want to be doing is paying the phone bill on that one.
That'll be a nice
Well, let me tell you, fellas, he's the only guy that the Calgary club didn't bring here. The most amazing part of this Calgary team is they only travel 44. That is, the CIAU pays for 44 officials, team, etc. So the Calgary boys got together, put in $50 each to make sure the full squad of 72 would come here for the game. To me, that's one of the best stories of the Vanier Cup.
Yeah, and let's not forget that Steve Posey carried the ball for his very first time in this ball game, and we want to make sure that his folks back in Calgary are aware of that too. Yeah, look who it is. Same man. And very nearly the same results as he crosses the 50 to the 48. Are we pronouncing his name correctly? That's the most important thing, Greg.
It is Steve Posey, and is easily recognizable as the only gentleman out there with a clean shirt.
Well, let's have a look at Steve. Follows the blocking of Tony Spallettini perfectly and hides in behind the big lineman and gets himself a pretty good gain.
Matter of fact, picks up 5 yards, so on 2 carries, he's managed 15 yards for the Dinosaurs. It is 2nd and 5, Calgary at the 48-yard line, and we're coming to the point now where the Mustangs are going to have to make something happen. They're fairly passive at this point. And again, this is Steve Posey, and Posey is inside the 45 to about the 44. Now, he may be about a yard short. Matt James, number 34, the linebacker, along with Michel Roy, the safety, combine on the tackle.
It's a great block from the left tackle, pulling down the line, Steve Rhoda Huskers, and he just does a good job. Young Posey running with the football, makes the good cut right upfield.
And I'm glad you mentioned Steve Rhoda Huskers, because he's from Strathmore, Alberta, and really this is the very first year of organized football for him. Although he was with the club last year, he didn't play any games and never played high school football, which to me, you know, is quite an accomplishment for a guy to move into this caliber of play.
Well, it really is, and I think all the offensive line of the Calgary Dinosaurs will attribute any success that they do have to their coach, Randy Berg. Randy is a gentleman that has been with the University of Calgary football program for many years, and he's done an excellent job of taking some young, inexperienced offensive linemen, molding them into a unit that plays together and is very seldomly beaten by their opponents.
Well, you know, as long as we're mentioning coaches, a good friend of mine who I played with in Hamilton, John McCorkindale, is the running back coach with the Calgary Dinosaurs. John, of course, played with Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, and Hamilton in the Canadian Football League.
On 3rd down and less than a yard to go. Let's see what Lou Lorick elects to do. He keeps it himself, and he was able to slip off the tackle and pick up the 1st down. Initially, it was all jammed up, but then Lorick, showing some good smarts, was able to just slip outside and picks up the 1st down. Jeremiah is back in the ball game, and Steve Posey, another St. Francis grad who did an excellent job in relief, comes back off the field onto the sidelines, and he was given a good pat on the back by a lot of the players down there. So it's 1st down for the Dinosaurs, who are not only eating up some field position here, but also chewing up the clock. 1:20 left to play in the 3rd quarter. Calgary leads at 18-6. And going deep, looking for Mike Saraska. Well, Saraska is furious. He feels that Kyle Hall interfered with him. But, Mike, I got to tell you, he's entitled to his position, too.
Oh, yeah, Mike. Listen, give him a break. Kyle Hall did a great job staying with him all the way down the sidelines. And, in fact, if there was any contact, I thought it was initiated by Mike Saraska. This is great defense. We're going to have a chance to see it one more time, but watch how Kyle Hall, he stays on the inside hip of Saraska, and then actually it's Mike who initiates the contact fighting for that football. Good defensive play.
So it's 2nd down, 10 yards to go. And Lorick now drops back into the shotgun. There was movement by Calgary. And Lorick is dropped back at the 48-yard line. The penalty, I'm sure, will be procedure against the Dinosaurs. So Western will take the sack by Bruce Elliott. And the punting unit of the Dinosaurs will come out onto the field.
It is getting a little muddy out there at midfield.
And I would think that's probably why they did go to the shotgun, because he has absolutely no traction dropping back.
I think that's a good point, Pat. When the traction is as bad as it is, don't make him backpedal.
Illegal procedure. Calgary on the center is declined. Third down.
Well, I can never figure out how they call the center for illegal procedure when he's the guy snapping the ball. Can you, Greg?
I've never seen it before. Obviously, I think he was a little slow bringing it up. Some of his line mates jumped, and they pinned it on the center.
And the guys that all say, yeah, if you don't know the snap count, then you should get a penalty. So now Mike McAuliffe and Edsel Shreve will drop back, 27 and 28. 16,821. The attendance here at Varsity Stadium this afternoon as Brent Mattich gets the kick away. Shreve takes it inside his 15 and just puts his head down and gets out to about the 18-yard line. You know, this is the culmination of the 1985 football campaign for all of our CTV crew. It's been another outstanding year, and the thing that I like most about it, Leaf, and I know that you'll agree, is that we wrap it up not with the Grey Cup game, but with the Vanier Cup, because it puts us on a high for next year as opposed to, the season is over. I've always enjoyed this game. I think it's one of the real big attractions on any network at any time of the year. And now I would like to see Western come back and make it a tighter ball game, because they trail 18-6 and time is marching on. And they're going to try to run the football with Blake Marshall. Marshall gets out over the 20 to about the 23, and he'll have a pickup of about 4 yards.
Pat, what I really like is after an 8-year career in the CFL, in the last 4 years broadcasting games, we always seem to say that the talent level gets better with each year, and really it is so apparent. Guys out there like Kent Warnock, who's 6'7", 245, a big, strong defensive end. Number 51, Wade Buto, the linebacker. I mean, these are great, great football players, and probably will enjoy pretty good careers in the Canadian Football League. Steve Samways, well, we don't know what's going to happen to him, but they sure have provided us with a lot of great entertainment.
It is second down, and let's make it a long 5 to go for Western with the ball at their 23. Samways, the left-handed quarterback, puts it in there and will have the first down if they give the receiver the 30-yard line, and that was certainly where he got to. It was Bill Stark, the slot back, number 31, on the final play of the third quarter. He gives the Western Mustangs a first down. They'll have the ball when we come back. It is Calgary 18, Western 6. This is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Football Championship.
James is a post-grad in engineering at Western. He's also the linebacker and defensive captain. Matt, it has been a tough afternoon.
Yeah, it has. This mud isn't helping us any. Their offense is hitting that quick out and running spread pass. We're having trouble getting pressure on the quarterback.
They're a very big club, too.
Nah, they grab and hold, man. It's sick what's happening in there. I'm not happy about it.
You mean they're playing dirty?
They're grabbing and holding.
Thank you, Matt.
All right, Matt, tell it like it is. I like that.
Matt's not too happy.
No, he's my kind of guy, and if you're getting held, you got to yell and scream and let the ref know.
We may direct Matt over to Angelo Mosca, because Angie's in the wrestling game. Matt would be a big hit in there. All right, tell it like it is, Matt. First down, Western. Let's see if they can get it cranked up. Samways reloaded. The pass is complete to Rick Wolkensberg. There is a penalty marker on the play, and a pass interference call probably coming.
I think it's against 32, Darcy Kopp. He just drilled the receiver, number 18, Wolkensberg, before he was going to catch that football. We'll wait and see how they call it, but it will be an automatic first down.
Pass interference. Calgary, number 32, first down.
Good call, Spy. It was Darcy Kopp, number 32. Wolkensberg has shown some pretty good hands, though, this afternoon. Well, there's the head coach of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Al Bruno. I didn't think they'd win 3 games this year, and they probably wouldn't have won 2 if Ken Hobart hadn't happened on the scene. But they did, and they got to the Grey Cup and played well. Oh, just beyond John Moffat's outstretched hands. It would have been nice to see him gather that one in. Brent Bodker, number 11, the cornerback on that side, was defending. And just getting back to the Hamilton Ticats, boy, what a job they did in the second half of the season. As you take a look at the three-quarter statistical story, and you can see that the Calgary Dinosaurs, 259 yards to 197. They've really come on to dominate the game now. And the rushing statistics are not really the important ones. The passing are. Samways has had a good afternoon, but Lou Lorick, who started so slowly, has really come on in the second and third quarters. But Samways needs a big play now. We're underway in the fourth quarter. He trails by 12 points. And now he fires over the head of the intended receiver, Rick Wolkensberger.
Well, that was simply a case of the pressure coming, and Samways had to throw over top of the big hands outstretched, and of course then overthrew his receiver.
You know, we talk about most of the kids on this Calgary club are from the city of Calgary or thereabouts. One of the few who isn't is Doug Nyhoff, the linebacker from Lethbridge, Alberta. But boy, they are few and far between.
There's Rob Lowe, by the way, Pat. He's an assistant coach with Western, and his grandmother, Annie Sadler, 90 years of age, is watching in on the game from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Grandma Sadler, hope you're enjoying it, and so does Rob.
On third down, Cruz's punt is high, not too deep. Darcy Kopp takes it at the 45, and he breaks through over the 50 to about the 53-yard line. So the Dinosaurs once again are going to have good field position. They lead it 18-6. This is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Football Championship. Well, we're all going to wave because that was the plan coming up here. Greg Vavra is with us. Lee Pedersen. I'm Pat Marsden. Alex Ponton. Bobby Layden. We're all here. We're having a good time, and you can see we feel like a cellophane sandwich or something. We're all wrapped up here. No rain falling on us, and just as well because we probably couldn't take it. Anyway, it's first down Calgary. They have the ball at their 53-yard line. They have a comfortable 12-point lead with just 13:10 left to play in the ball game. And Elio Jeremiah, the ball carrier, as he powers his way into Western Territory at about the 54-yard line. He'll have a pickup of 3. It'll be 2nd and 7 as the nose tackle, Dave Small from Lucas High School in London, was there to make the tackle. Jeremiah has been a very busy man today. 19 carries for 83 yards. Might add that's well below his normal rushing average of 7.8, but under the field conditions, it's still amazing. Lorick throws, and the catch is made. And an outstanding one it is by Randy Beck. And Beck is inside the 30-yard line. Good concentration by the youngster from Chestermere Lake High School. He was wrapped up finally by Marius Locke, number 29, but a good catch by Randy Beck, and good for 24 yards.
Nice touch on the ball by Lou Lorick, too. I'm sure you'll appreciate that, Greg. He just laid it in over top of the defender, and Randy Beck made a nice catch.
It was an excellent reception. It was an excellent throw. Lou was under pressure. He was able to get his feet planted, threw the ball primarily all arm, but put it right on the money.
The ball is at the 29-yard line of the University of Western Ontario. Calgary in possession with a first down. This is Jeremiah. Big hole for him. And Elio scoots through inside the 20 to about the 18-yard line. Another first down for Calgary. John McVeigh finally brought him down, but this could be the final nail in the coffin.
And really, one of the factors in the second half has been the ability of the Calgary offensive line to control that Western defensive front 3 and linebackers. Paul Kerber, the center, Sean Lehman, Craig Watson, the guards, Pete Oler, and Steve Rudda, Huskers, the tackles, and they have done an outstanding job.
Well, with 12 minutes and 5 seconds left to play in this ball game, Calgary leads at 8-6, and we'll remind you, this is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Football Championship. John McVeigh was the injured University of Western Ontario Mustang. He is replaced in the lineup by Steve Geddes, the brother of Paul Geddes, their defensive end, number 45. Steve wears 13. He's in the ball game. The Dinosaurs have a first down at the Western 18. Toss goes to Jeremiah, and he's upended. Good play by...
I think it was number 22, Steve Huggins, the inside safety. He came up quickly to support. You'll have to bear with us. It is really difficult to see the numbers at this point in the fourth quarter, but watch as he knifes through. Number 22, Steve Huggins, second-year social science major from Hamilton, Ontario, makes an outstanding play.
Ball was left on the ground, but they ruled that he was down. And now we just had the lights go out here at Varsity Stadium, and the lights are about to go out on the University of Western Ontario. Lorick puts it in the end zone. Randy Guy makes the adjustment for the touchdown. Highlight. 17 yards, the touchdown pass. Lou Lorick to Randy Guy, and the Calgary Dinosaurs are now just 11 minutes and 4 seconds away from their second Vanier Cup in 3 seasons.
Well, not a very well thrown ball, but super adjustment by number 24, Randy Guy, and he picks up a touchdown. I'm going to check with Bobby Layden, our statistician, because I think Randy Guy's had a pretty good day catching the football.
That's his 4th catch. And the point after is good. Now, barring some kind of a miracle comeback by Western, Calgary is in very, very enviable position. They lead it 25-6.
Craig, will we have a little time here? What in store for you in 1986 with the Calgary Stampeders?
At this point in time, Leaf, it's really unclear as to exactly what will happen with any of the players. I think the primary concern of the management of the Stampeders at this point in time is to secure financing and hopefully maintain the community ownership concept that they've gone with in the past. Until that is done, everybody is sort of up in the air, and that decision will be made December 15th, so we'll take it from there.
What's your contract situation with them right now?
I'm entering in my option year after March 1st, and hopefully we'll be able to negotiate a new deal with the Calgary Stampeders.
Greg Vavra, self-analysis is always very difficult, but let me ask you this. What have you accomplished that you feel has been positive since you left the University of Calgary to join the Stampeders? Do you feel you're a better football player now? Have you been afforded the opportunities that you expected and wanted?
Well, at various points in time, obviously, things don't go as you would want them to go. This year was a difficult year for me, but last year, I guess, was a more positive year than I personally expected in my first year of professional football. I think that I am far and away a better quarterback than I was when I played in the Vanier Cup in 1983, and I continue to make progression, and as long as you're moving ahead, you're doing all right.
Well, we certainly wish you well, and let me say publicly right now what an outstanding job I think you've done for us this afternoon, and we're very appreciative of that. Milan Marjanovic kicks it away, and this will be McAuliffe. McAuliffe has it bounce over his head, picks it up at the 1-yard line. Doesn't quite get to the 10 before he's driven down there by a horde of Calgary Dinosaurs.
Actually, what you're seeing right now, I think, is typical of the second half of the football game. It has been a field position half of football, and Calgary has had the field position. Western has not been able to start in very good field position and hasn't been able to rally anything to change that situation around.
All right, Bill, take it away.
Randy Guy, who is in his last year of finance, is having himself quite a bloodbath, or mudbath, I guess I should say, out there,
The
Randy.
footing's really terrible out there. It's really tough to get your footing, but I think it's an advantage for the opens.
Yeah, a great touchdown. You were wide open.
Well, they've changed their secondary around. They had a few injuries and had to make some changes. They put their second-string defensive back in, and we tried to key on him and throw the ball in the area he was playing for.
Are they as tough as you thought they would be, or are you having an easier time than you anticipated?
They're definitely a good football team. Definitely as tough as we thought they were going to be. It's difficult for us not used to playing in these conditions, but they have played well. Thanks, Randy.
Well, they're going to get an opportunity to put some more points on the board because Bruno Jeremiah came up with the interception for the Dinosaurs, but there is a penalty marker on the field, rough play is the call. Well, the referee indicated that it is against Calgary now. Initially, he said it was against Western. But if it is against Calgary, the interception, of course, will not stand.
Great anticipation by Bruno Jeremiah as he steps in front of the intended receiver. He had 3 interceptions in the 1985 season. That's his 4th. And in fact, one of his interceptions he took back for a touchdown this year.
Unnecessary roughness. Calgary on the passer. Sure, first down.
Well, Greg Vavra, who's joined us here today, has some Vanier Cup records that aren't going to be broken here today. 37 passes, 20 of them were completed. This is back in 1983. And your field goals, 5 of them, they're not going to be broken either. The pass is caught for Western by Bill Stark. And Stark gives the Mustangs about a gain of 9 yards. Well, obviously, the Mustangs are going to be a little bit frustrated now. They came into this game very, very confident. They started off like they were going to blow the Dinosaurs right out of Varsity Stadium, and now they're getting a hammer job put on them. As Blake Marshall gives Western a first down over the 35 to the 37-yard line.
Things are getting a little testy out there. I've detected the odd fist flying here with just a little over 4 minutes remaining rather in the ball game.
You know, it's not right and it shouldn't happen, but you got to know that most of us would be taking our frustrations out that way too. But you can't condone it. And let's face it, the reason that Calgary is out in front 25-6 is because they played better than the University of Western Ontario Mustangs. Samways going deep. Making a super adjustment to the ball was Rick Wolkensberg, but unfortunately he couldn't come down with it. Dexton Blackstock was there on the coverage.
Well, there he is, number 22, Dexton Blackstock, a second-year general arts student from Montreal, and Ken Warnick, number 93. Well, they did a great job in bringing him down. When you're 6'7", you got the big long legs, and that's an area to go after. And yes, tempers are starting to get a little high.
Well, as spotter Alex Ponton pointed out, Herb Damon and Kent Warnock are staging a better fight than we've seen in the last 5 heavyweight matches.
Well, Herb Damon's 6'5", 265. That's a pretty good matchup.
Yeah, and Warnock is 6'7", 262. Well, Samways is dropped. And now we're really going to get into it.
Now, that's Herb Damon. He's at the bottom of the pile. He's taking on everybody.
Herb is from St. Thomas, Ontario, which is in southwestern Ontario. And he's one of 2 people from St. Thomas in that club. He and Bill Lindsay, who plays the other guard spot, is there from St. Thomas as well. But they're having a good time, punching up. And
oh, yeah. Well, this is his 5th year, probably his last game. He says, I'm going to go out swinging. Although I suspect that his size and his abilities, that some club in the CFL is going to make him a draft choice.
Well, and his aggressiveness, too.
The coaches always like the guys that are fighting out there.
Jeff Cruz puts it high. This one isn't too deep. Peterson picks it up. There's a flag back way downfield. And it's good now if everybody can just get a little composure and they can finish the 8 minutes and 32 seconds that remain in this ball game. Because both clubs have done some things well today. Calgary has done more of them, and they lead at 25-6. There was a penalty marker down on the field. Now, this has got to be a rough play, I would think, because they've been punching for the last 10 minutes or so.
Holding, Calgary number 47. First down.
Holding by the nose, I think.
Yeah. I was going to say some guy was getting held while the other guy hit him.
Well, we're winding it down for 1985. This is our final football telecast of the year. And we want to thank you for watching us on CTV all of 85. And we hope you've enjoyed the Vanier Cup. Boy, it's been enjoyable watching these Calgary Cougars. The Dinos Dinosaurs get it out to about the 53-yard line. Ilio Jeremiah was the ball carrier.
Well, Ilio Jeremiah does a great job running the football, but once again, it's number 37, the fullback, Tony Spallettini. Watch, well, you can't see his number anymore, but he's had a great afternoon blocking for his buddy.
He really has. Tony's done a super job taking on whichever block is his responsibility, and he's, whether it's the inside linebacker or the outside linebacker, has consistently dominated the game.
118 yards for Ilio Jeremiah this afternoon. And tack on a couple more to make it 120 because Jeremiah was the ball carrier once again.
I think Tony Spallettini has an older brother, Tom, that plays with you at Calgary.
Actually, Tommy's down here with me. They are cousins. They're not brothers. They live side by side in Calgary, so I make the mistake of calling them brothers. But Tom is here watching his cousin Tony play and is every bit as excited as the Calgary bench is right now.
Greg, what's the travel arrangements? When does the club go back, do you know?
I believe the club heads home at 9 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow, which is, of course, 7 o'clock Calgary time. So they will be back mid-morning in Calgary.
Are you going back with them?
I will be arriving a little bit later in the day, but I'm sure we'll tag up at some time during the day to put things together.
Yeah, right. Spallettini took the screen pass, but unfortunately couldn't break it for sufficient yardage for the first down as Western toughened up and stopped him at their own 46-yard line. And so with 7 minutes and 1 second left to play in the fourth and obviously the final quarter, the Calgary Dinosaurs are going to win their second Vanier Cup in the past 3 years. Bill?
Well, I've got Jeff Sawchuk with me. Jeff, you're not quite as tall as you look, I know. I'm standing in a hole, but your defense has really held them.
Yeah, they said they were going to beat us up, and they felt sorry for our mom and dads in the stands because they were going to beat us, and I think we sort of showed them today.
Well, one of the players for Western was saying you were doing a lot of holding out there.
No, they're doing a lot of holding, yeah, because they can't stop us. Hi, Lovey.
All right, Jeff. Now we're getting Jeff is back on the field right now. Do you remember 2 years ago, Lee, when Bill was doing an interview on the sidelines? Who was it with?
It was with a Calgary player in the Vanier Cup a couple of years ago.
Do you remember that, Greg?
It was actually Tim Petros on the bench after some play, and we turned the ball over and 2 quick downs. It was a punt team, and Tim was responsible, obviously, for punt returns and had to take off out of the interview and back onto the field.
Well, he did a great interview while he was there, though.
Let me tell you, these are the greatest athletes in the world to talk to during a game. They love to be part of the action. They like to be recognized. And they, another point, too, and Greg, I know that you can speak for this, but for Pat and for Leaf also, they speak so well. They're all highly educated young men.
And we want them to stay in school. We don't want them trying their hand at broadcasting.
Yeah, Greg, you're doing a great job.
Samways looks, throws, and he threw that ball well. Unfortunately, not close enough to John Moffat. And so it goes as an incompletion. And all this happens with 6 minutes and 8 seconds left to play in the ball game. Greg, what are your off-season plans?
Well, Pat, at this time, I'm just sort of getting back into the work environment in Calgary. I do work at an oil company in town with my father. We run a small oil company and really handle all facets of the business, so I'm learning a great deal from him, and hopefully someday we'll be able to go into it on my own.
Well, let us know when you get the good stock tips, because we're always interested. The pass is complete to the tight end, Tim Spriel. And Spriel gets out over the 10 to the 13-yard line.
Boy, you took the words out of my mouth with the stock tips. Don't tell Stevenson, though. We want it to have a chance.
Well, we're winding down here, and the Calgary Dinosaurs know that they've got this one. And they are full value for it. Boy, they have been impressive. You know, they had a rocky start, but then they really started to come out in the second quarter, and they have really dominated the football game from that point to this. And as Jeff Sawchuk said, we had heard the same story, that Western, supposedly somebody from the Western Club had made the comment that they were really going to beat up on the Calgary Dinosaurs. It did not come to pass, and it might not ever come to pass if they played 10 games in a row, because the Dinosaurs look awesome.
Dinosaurs are very strong. I think it was good to see that Western had a lot of confidence coming into the game. I don't know that they used it properly, because those things can be turned around against you as far as motivating the Calgary Dinosaurs to play a lot more physically than maybe they would have come in had Western given them a little bit more credit.
Boy, oh boy, they just demolished Carleton last week in that terrible weather conditions in Calgary. And if for no other reasons, they should have had respect because Carleton was considered a pretty good football team. The catch was made by John Moffat, and Moffat has enough for the first down, a pickup of 13. And forcing him out of bounds was the cornerback Brent Bodker, number 11.
You know, you look back at every game, and there's at least one or two plays that are the turning points, and it has to be that interception by Wade Buteau in the second corner that really turned the game around for the Dinosaurs and got them on track.
Samways looks, throws over the middle, and the catch is made again to the tight end, Tim Spriel. And playing deep center field for Calgary is a name that I'd like to mention because it'll mean so much to football fans across the country. Tyler Robinson, number 35, is the son of Larry Robinson, who played for so many years and so well for the Calgary Stampeders. And that's when you know you're getting old, when guys that you knew so well and that you played against, like Leaf played against Larry Robinson, to see Tyler playing for the Dinosaurs. It's 25-6. Calgary leads Western. This is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Football Championship. 16,821 fans have enjoyed this 1985 Vanier Cup performance by both the Calgary Dinosaurs and the Western Ontario Mustangs. And Steve Samways isn't going to quit yet. He completes the pass to Tim Spriel. I like Spriel, and if the pro offenses ever go back to a tight end, I think there's a young fellow you'd have to take a look at.
Well, you sure would. He's 6'1", 210 pounds, and he's had a pretty good day catching the football. Once again, I'll check with Bobby Layton. 4 for 49 for Tim Spriel. Not a bad day at all.
And they've only started going to him of late. And the catch is made once again for Western by Bill Stark. Yep, number 31. Inside receiver from Guelph, Ontario. It's a pickup of about 8 yards, so make it 2nd and 2. No huddle for Western. They'd like to put this in the end zone to make it a more respectable score, if nothing else. And we've got a timeout called by the officials as they wipe the ball clean, which is virtually an impossibility because they're right in the middle of the worst part of the field. Well, it was a great attempt by Rick Wolkensberg, who was really whacked. The ball was behind him. He was trying to make a one-handed catch, and he was really zonked by Darcy Kopp, 32, and Dexton Blackstock, 22.
Well, the coach of the year has to be pleased. His team ahead of Western by 19 points, and watch the hit by number 32, Darcy Kopp, coming up right here. Just, ooh.
Well, the coach of the year, Peter Canellan, is now joined by the defensive star of this game, defensive end number 62, Jeff Sawchuk, who has been voted the defensive star. And the offensive player of the game is Elio Jeremiah. And that's a well-deserved honor. Bobby Layton isn't happy about that, but since he doesn't have a vote and nobody cares anyway, we don't care whether he's disappointed. But the turnover will go to Calgary. And they'll have possession at their own 45-yard line. And so with 3 minutes and 10 seconds left to play in the ball game, and Calgary leading it 25-6, let's see what Lou Lorick and that offense elect to do now. Do they just run it out? We'll find out. Well, he had a tough time with the exchange from center, but Jeremiah was there to cover that loose football. Well, we'll remind you, this is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Football Championship. 53 seconds. That's all that separates the Calgary Dinosaurs from their second Vanier Cup in the past 3 years. That lady is obviously happy about it all. You have to know that the city of Calgary, which hasn't had an awful lot to cheer about in football in the last few seasons, other than the Calgary Dinosaurs, they've got to be excited by it. Coach Peter Cannellan and all his staff, and most of all the players. This is the highlight of their athletic careers for most of them. And Lou Lawlick has to be very happy, except there was nobody there to catch that one. Brent Lewis was the closest player to it, and he plays for Western. The linebacker from Turner High School in Brampton very nearly had himself an interception. Bill?
Pat, here's the gentleman you were talking about who does so much for us, Jack Newman, who is in charge of the promotion publicity for the athletic department. Jack, when's the club going home?
We'll be leaving, we arrive in Calgary on Air Canada Flight 117 at 11:15. I'm not sure that's the right number, but I know we touched down at 11:15 tomorrow morning at Calgary International Airport.
Jack, it's a very happy bunch of athletes.
Super, Bill. We'd just like to take this opportunity to thank all the Calgarians who support us all year long. The telegrams are great. We love you, and we look forward to seeing you back in Calgary tomorrow.
Thank you, Jack Newman.
My pleasure.
And thank you for all your help.
So Brent Matich is back to punt on 3rd and 13 for Calgary. Flag comes down. Matich kicks this one low. And the return will come to the 32-yard line by Michel Roy. And that's where the Mustangs will have one final shot at it to see if they can put it in the end zone again. They scored their touchdown very early in the first quarter, and since that time, the Dinosaur defense has really closed everything down that they've tried to do. Bill?
I would like to tell everybody that following the Vanier Cup game, there's lots of sports action on CTV's Wide World of Sports. You'll see the figure skating, the report on the True North, the Budweiser GT Endurance Race in juniors, synchronized swimming, and that is on Wide World of Sport right after this fine Vanier Cup game.
Well, the 16,821 who are here and were cheering for the Calgary Dinosaurs are going to be happy. Those who were cheering for the Western Mustangs probably can't believe their eyes, because if you were not aware, the Mustangs were #1 ranked in Canada. The Dinosaurs were #3. So this is an upset, I suppose you can look at it this way. To me, the surprising aspect is the way that Calgary has dominated all aspects of the game. Steve Samways looks, throws, and it was very nearly complete, but unfortunately could not hang on was Bill Stark, number 31.
Actually, an interesting point just occurred a few minutes ago, Pat. The Calgary coaches called the players together. I'm sure they told them to stay out of the garbage on the field, and I just saw Larry Haler call his boys over, and I'm sure he told them the same thing. So for Western, it's just a matter of going out with class, and for Calgary, it's a matter of winning with class, and they've got to end it on a classy note.
Well, that's a good point, Greg, and let's face it, this is the showcase of university football, and everyone would hate to see it deteriorate. It has not. It has been a fine game under difficult conditions, but you have seen the quality of play that university football features right across the country. And next year, why not get out and take in a university football game in your area, because I know you'd enjoy it. The atmosphere is fantastic, and the play just improves year in and year out. And as I was talking to Leo Cahill at halftime, Leo, the former coach of the Toronto Argonauts, said most of the players who played in the CFL 20 years ago, who were Canadians, could not even play on either one of these teams here today. In other words, the quality has improved so much in the last 20 years that it's really frightening. Samway's pass is caught for a big gain down to the 45-yard line by the tight end, Tim Spreal.
Tim Spreal just did a great job going downfield and concentrating on the football. It was not an easy catch to make. Darcy Kopp had it all lined up to make the play, but he slips in the mud and falls down. There he goes, but Tim Spreal, nice concentration, good catch.
31 yards on the gain. Samways again in the shotgun, looks, throws. And unfortunately, his receiver, Rick Wolkensberg, fell down just as he made his cut, and the ball sailed over his head.
Well, Greg, while we have a little time left, let me, too, offer my congratulations on a job really well done today, and I hope you get your contract sorted out and things go well for you with the Stampeders next year. I think you're a darn good quarterback, and I hope they give you a chance to play.
Well, thank you very much, Leaf. It has been a real enjoyable experience to work with you two gentlemen, and hopefully we can do it again next year.
It's the first time anybody's called us gentlemen in a while.
It's the first time anybody said they enjoyed our company. It's 2nd down and 10 yards to go as Samways again drops back into the shotgun. This time, though, he can't handle the pass from center because it wasn't close enough to him. He unloads the pass, but it falls aimlessly to the ground. It was intended for Brian Bone, brother of Jamie Bone, a former quarterback at Western. But it simply goes as an incomplete pass with 1 minute and 51 seconds left to play in the ball game. Calgary 25. No wonder they're happy. Western 6.
Well, Pat, that's my old buddy John McCorkindale there, the offensive backfield coach on the sidelines. And there's Mike Sarashka. He had a couple of big catches. And, boy, what they really are deserving. You know, we've said this, and Pat, you said it a few minutes ago. They played well in all facets of their game today and deserve to win this 1985 Vanier Cup. Steve Samways, well, I thought you played pretty darn well yourself.
Steve did an excellent job today. He threw the ball very well under trying conditions. And one thing that has sort of gone unnoticed is quite often after he delivered the ball, he really got rocked. He never failed to get up. He's never quit on the Western Mustangs, and he's done a super job to hold himself together and stay in the ball game.
Well, let me tell you something about Steve Samways. He has now thrown more passes than you did in 1983. He has thrown 40 times. He's completed 19. If he completes one more pass, he'll tie another record of yours, Greg Vavra. Come on, Steve.
Well, they say they were made to be broken, so we'll see a couple go down today.
It's 3rd and 10, and obviously the Mustangs have got to go for it, trailing 25-6 with only 1:51 left on the clock. Now, does he go for the first down, or does he try to pick up the touchdown right away? That's the question. Steve, you're only one pass away from Greg Vavra's record. Take it, even if it's only 2 or 3 yards. But it really is unfortunate. We've had an outstanding football game, and it's been pleasurable to watch it. But it is unfortunate that we didn't have the conditions that we had a year ago here. It was 60 degrees. It was like it was an early autumn afternoon. And as a result of that, it was a great football game. This has been a fine football game, but not as good as it might have been, because as you suggested earlier, it might have been a classic had the weather conditions been better. Samways' pass, no good. Again, he was looking for Brian Bone. It will go as an incompletion. The ball will be turned over to the Dinosaurs with 1 minute and 46 seconds left on the clock. And, of course, at the conclusion of the ball game, we will have the presentation of the Vanier Cup. We'll also have the presentation of the Teddy Morris Trophy, which goes to the outstanding player in the ball game. And that doesn't come as any surprise that the voting selected Ilio Jeremiah, the outstanding running back of the Calgary Dinosaurs. Ilio rushed today for 108 yards. It's a good thing this is the final game of the season. Bobby Layton's pen is now dry. And the pickup will be about 3 or 4 yards as they get the ball to the 50-yard line.
The Dinosaurs have now started substituting freely. I think you'll see that Rob McNabb, the backup quarterback, is into the football game, along with many other second-string players.
Well, and it's a great chance for them to say that they played in a Vanier Cup. After all, they've been very important factors, certainly during practice time for the Dinosaurs, and of course also in many football games throughout the course of the year. So I'm glad to see they're getting the opportunity. And this is Rob Zimmerman. Zimmerman with a fine run. Let's see where they mark him out of bounds, because he really took off, showed a great burst of speed. Zimmerman is inside the 45 at about the 44-yard line.
This little guy at 5'9", 175, first-year player with the Calgary Dinosaurs. Once again, he too from the Calgary area, did a nice job running with the football.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that he's just a little guy. So is Jeremiah. He's only 5'8", and Spallettini's only 5'10". What am I saying only? They tower over him. And again, this is Rob Zimmerman. And Zimmerman this time is stacked up as he picks up about a yard. Now, let's see. There's further substitution. Jim Wilkin comes in, as does Mark Steele, numbers 19 and 23. And so this is great. Many players getting an opportunity to say they played in the 1985 Vanier Cup Championship won by their Calgary Dinosaurs.
If I'm not mistaken, this is Jim's first snap from scrimmage in the 1985 season, and what a play it'll be for him to remember.
Jim Wilkin, unfortunately.
Well, maybe not.
Well, it's not his fault, though, because really the whole right side of that line moved, and there's total disarray. And poor Jim is saying, why did this have to happen to me? Yeah, that's nice. Paul Kerber puts his arm around him and says, it wasn't your fault, or was it? Anyway, the ball is turned over to the University of Western Ontario Mustangs with just 53 seconds left to play in the game. Well done, Dinosaurs. Super job.
Then well done to the Western Mustangs. Head coach Larry Haler. They had a great year. They lost a heartbreaker last year in the league final to Guelph, who eventually won the Vanier Cup in 1984. This year, they won the heartbreaker against Laurier and then went down and defeated Mount Allison. They've had a great year and nothing to be ashamed of.
The pass is cut. John Giroux's pass is cut by, let's see who that is. Number 26 is David Bean, so a lot of substitution now by both coaches. You know, you talk about retributive justice. Blake Marshall fumbled on the final play last year against Guelph, and that's how Guelph won the championship. This year, Blake Marshall scored on the final play against Laurier, and that's how they won the title. Pass this time is underthrown, looking for number 77. That's David Grace. But John Giroux has his pass fall to the ground. Giroux, incidentally, is from De La Salle here in Toronto. But generally speaking, the Western Mustangs are very much from the London area. London, St. Thomas. A few from Toronto, but not all that many. It's second down and 10, Western. The ball is at the Calgary 52 with just 34 seconds left on the clock. And Giroux is dropped. Great pressure. Wade Budo blitzed from his linebacking spot, and he was there to make the sack.
That's typical of the kind of day it's been for the Western quarterbacks. Those are tough ones to play in, but obviously you get here for a reason, and I'm sure you'll see more of the Western Mustangs in the near future.
Well, there's no question that they have a quality football program at Western. They have been a factor in this part of the country for, well, as long as I can remember university football. And they have a great club that I'm sure they know will be back next year because they're a young team. But they cannot control the weather conditions. But the weather conditions were the same for Western as they were for Calgary, and the Dinosaurs adjusted much better to it.
Well, they have great tradition at Western. In fact, this was their 7th appearance today in the Vanier Cup competition, and that's the most of any university in Canada. So you know the tradition is there, and of course, yes, they will be back. I always love the security guards are getting ready now. They're around the goalposts at either end. I'm not so sure they're going to be able to stop all the kids anyway. I wouldn't be tangling with that group right there.
I'm glad that Jim Wilkin got an opportunity to get another snap from center, though. Again, the right side of that line moved, and the handoff goes to Rob Zimmerman, and Zimmerman picks up very close to another first down with just 5 seconds left. There are penalty markers down, and it's got to be a procedure call against Calgary because the right side of the line definitely did move. Procedure, there you see the signal against Calgary. So this will be the final play. There's 5 seconds left on the clock and 5 seconds left in the football season in Canada. We're talking pros and we're talking university and we're talking junior. We're talking the whole ball of wax right here. It's over. The Dinosaurs have done it. They came in ranked number 3. They played number 1. Right now, there is absolutely no question that the University of Calgary Dinosaurs are the best football team in Canadian university football. Rob Zimmerman is going to prove it even more so as he skirts down the sidelines with a big game for Calgary, but it's over. The Calgary Dinosaurs have won their second Vanier Cup in 3 years. And they are full value for their 25-6 beating today of the University of Western Ontario Mustangs. Mustangs obviously not too happy about the way the afternoon unfolded, but those kids are. They fell behind 6-0 and they said, hey, we're not going to let that bother us. They put 25 points on the board and did not get a response from the Mustangs. So the Calgary Dinosaurs win it. They are the 1985 Vanier Cup champions, and they are full value for it. And this is good. Now both clubs are going to line up, and they're going to shake hands and say, good game, fellas. The final score, 25-6, Calgary over Western, and this is the Vanier Cup, Canada's University Football Championship.
Darcy Kopp and Craig Watson, congratulations, the co-captains of the Calgary Dinosaurs. Now let's get the Federal Minister of Sport, Otto Jelinek, to make the presentation of the Vanier Cup. Otto?
There you are, fellas. Congratulations. Well played game. You can hold her right up. Right up. There you go.
And next, Carl Totsky, who is the president of the CIAU, presents the banner that will proudly go in the athletic hall at the University of Calgary. And our stage gets crowded and crowded and more crowded. Frank Sella, if we can clear some way. And where's Frank? Is Frank up here somewhere? All we need to do is find Frank Sella, and we'll bring Frank up, and Frank will be able to talk to Lou Larry. All right. Frank Sella. All right, gentlemen, if you'll move aside, we'll make the presentation.
Do that inside. Number one.
All right. Where's Lou? We need Lou Lara. Lou? Oh, here you are. Lou. Frank Sella, the vice president of Nestle's International, is going to make the presentation of the MVP trophy to Lou Larry. I don't know if you can see it, but go ahead.
Lou, congratulations.
Lou, go ahead.
Let's give Lou a minute. Lou, congratulations, not only for winning, but for playing the kind of game you played, especially in this weather. Congratulations.
Thanks very much. It was a great win. And congratulations.
All right!
All right, now let's turn over. Walt, if we can find the two athletes who have won the trophy, and we'll make the presentation on behalf of Labatt's. I'll get them right in here.
Okay, Bill. Very good.
All right. Where's Jeff Sawchuk? Come on, Jeff. Jeff Sawchuk is the defensive player of the game. And Elio Jeremiah is the offense. Elio, come on in. All right, and Walt Lemon, sales manager for Labatt's Breweries, will make the presentation of the offensive and defensive players. Defensive player.
I've got the defensive trophy here, Jeff. Congratulations.
Thank you very
Super
much.
Game. Excellent. Great win.
Here's the offensive trophy.
And the offensive trophy?
Is it Elio? Yeah. Elio, congratulations. You played a great game. Way to go, guys.
All right. Thank you very much. The Labatt's trophies for the offensive and defensive player of the game, and in the pandemonium, I hope you saw it all, because this is the Vanier Cup, the University Football Championship.
This is the CTV Television Network.